After the engagement, she went to find her first love, and I married her student. Gu Bei and Ji Qingwan were engaged. But no one expected that Ji Qingwan would call off the engagement. From their university days, Gu Bei had given the best of everything to Ji Qingwan. After graduation, Ji Qingwan wanted to pursue graduate school, so Gu Bei worked 2 jobs, from dawn to dusk, without a single day off. He did all of this just to ensure that Ji Qingwan could focus on her studies without worrying about anything else. Ji Qingwan took 2 years to pass the entrance exams for her desired university and spent another 3 years completing her graduate degree, all while Gu Bei supported her financially. Gu Bei worked tirelessly, even starting his own business once he had saved up a little money. After starting the company, he worked even harder, practically to the point of exhaustion. Eventually, he became successful, building his business from scratch, expanding into the financial market, and earning over hundreds of millions annually. He provided Ji Qingwan with an even better life. While Ji Qingwan was still in graduate school, she had already traveled to more than 10 countries. She used skincare products worth for digits, dined at Michelin-starred restaurants, and stayed in the finest hotels. Gu Bei was handsome, ambitious, and completely devoted, never once looking at another woman. Everyone envied Ji Qingwan and wished they could be her. Over the years, many women had fallen for Gu Bei, but he had eyes only for Ji Qingwan. They had planned to hold an extravagant wedding on New Year's Day. However, when the rumors surfaced that Ji Qingwan's first love, Yang Chen, was returning to the country, everything changed. UV Restaurant, known as the most mysterious restaurant in Zhonghai. Reservations had to be made 3 months in advance. There were 3 packages A, B, and C priced at 4,000, 6,000, and 8,888 per person. Because Ji Qingwan casually mentioned that she wanted to try the UV restaurant, Gu Bei immediately booked the 2 best packages. They first gathered at number 18 on the Bund, and once everyone arrived, they took a car to the banks of Suqing River. Each seat had a projected name of the customer, and the dinner was formal yet exquisite. The dishes were innovative, layered, and paired perfectly with wine. The seaweed lobster was brought out first, accompanied by projections of the sea waves and the sound of the ocean. The waiter used a pressure cooker to release steam from the seaweed soup, enveloping the entire room, creating an immersive atmosphere. The lobster in the plate, with its taste, temperature, and freshness, was simply flawless. But Gu Bei tasted only bitterness in his mouth. So, he's really coming back, is that true? Ji Qingwan, her makeup flawless, averted her gaze slightly. Millimeter. Actually, Yang Chen had already returned, but Ji Qingwan didn't say that. We agreed before that important decisions need to be considered for 3 days. Have you thought it through? Millimeter. Ji Qingwan's answer remained simple, just 1 word. Gu Bei nodded, forcing a smile, but ultimately, it faded away. Over the years, he had given everything to Ji Qingwan, treating her with care as if she were precious, yet it seemed that it wasn't enough. Gu Bei knew Ji Qingwan had once had feelings for Yang Chen. All his efforts were ultimately no match for her memories. His heart died. He understood that his relationship with Ji Qingwan had come to an end. So Gu Bei didn't say much, only calmly speaking, "Give me back the engagement ring." Ji Qingwan took out the ring box from her Hermes bag and placed it on the table. Gu Bei stared at the ring box that had already been prepared, remaining silent for a long time before slipping it into his pocket. It was a custom engagement ring he had spent a large sum on, symbolizing his desire to marry Ji Qingwan and spend his life with her. But now, it had become a token of their breakup. How ridiculous! Gu Bei chuckled bitterly at himself. Well, then let us end it here. We'll go our separate ways and never disturb each other again. Ji Qingwan's heart trembled, as if she had lost something important. But she didn't speak, nor did she dare to look Gu Bei in the eye. I'm sorry. Gu Bei stood up and turned to leave. He didn't say, "It's okay." The 3 words, "I'm sorry," felt so hollow, so empty. Could so many years of love really be covered up by just those words? Gu Bei knew there was no point in saying more, no need for a debate. There's no winner or loser in love. But after he had given everything for Ji Qingwan, he had already lost. He had lost to the so-called first love. There were no pleas for him to stay, no goodbyes. Gu Bei left the restaurant, gazing at the waning moon in the night sky, slowly exhaling a breath. He had already anticipated this day. In the end, hearts would change. Gu Bei suddenly felt weary, yet at the same time, inexplicably relieved. For so many years, he had single-handedly fought off pressure from all sides, all for Ji Qingwan. Now, the boat had passed through countless mountains, and Ji Qingwan had reached the shore. It was time for him to slow down and enjoy his own life. Gu Bei had no regrets. They had given each other their brightest years. There were regrets, of course, especially that they hadn't made it to the end. After all, Ji Qingwan had been his first love, the one who warmed him when he was lonely and helpless. He remembered her gentle eyes and radiant smile. But life is like a train heading towards the grave, and some people get off sooner than others. No one can stay with you until the very end. Gu Bei walked to a dim corner, lit a cigarette, and silently watched the river flow. His love with Ji Qingwan was like the water beneath his feet, once gone, never to return. Gu Bei flicked the cigarette butt away and got into the Maybach that had come to pick him up. The driver, Shi Minghui, glanced at the lighted sign in the distance. "Let us go," Gu Bei said. Now, it was just him. No more waiting for Ji Qingwan. Since they had both chosen to part ways after serious consideration, it was final. Gu Bei loved deeply, but he would not chase, nor would he look back. If one day Ji Qingwan regretted it, he wouldn't take her back. Once, he loved Ji Qingwan like a river flowing towards the sea, like a bird flying to its nest. But when he stopped loving her, it was like stars avoiding the sun, like mountains across the sea. Inside the restaurant, Ji Qingwan sat in a daze, staring at the spot where Gu Bei had just been. Gu Bei's reaction was beyond her expectations. She knew how much Gu Bei loved her. He treated her as if she were the whole world. Before suggesting the breakup, she had thought that Gu Bei would probably not be able to accept it. She had even prepared for him to become hysterical, throwing a fit and smashing things, or perhaps kneeling down to beg her not to break up. But what she didn't expect was that Gu Bei simply took back the engagement ring and walked out without a word. There was a hint of disappointment in his eyes, but it wasn't overwhelming. He wasn't angry. He left with calmness, only leaving behind a quiet "let us never disturb each other again." It was clear that he had gotten what he wanted, and there was no more pleading or chasing. Yet Ji Qingwan didn't feel the relief she had imagined. Instead, there was an indescribable unease. It was as though she wasn't as important as she had thought. After breaking off the engagement, Gu Bei didn't act like he was dying, nor did he raise his voice. He just accepted it quietly. Ji Qingwan felt a strong urge to run after him. But she feared that doing so would make him think she was playing games. She wasn't joking. She had taken off the 2-carat engagement ring. Ji Qingwan looked at her delicate fingers and fell into silence. Her fingers were bare, no longer bound by the ring, meaning she was single again, free to love anyone she chose. But why did it feel so hollow? Ji Qingwan took a sip of red wine, but the Australian wine king didn't taste as good as she remembered. The restaurant's atmosphere was indeed fine, but Gu Bei had taken her to better places before. She put down her wine glass, picked up her bag, and left. If Yang Chen hadn't gone abroad back then, maybe she wouldn't have ended up with Gu Bei. She had never forgotten the dazzling Yang Chen from before. Back then, many people thought she and Yang Chen made a better match. Occasionally, people would even ask if she and Yang Chen were still in touch. Now that Yang Chen had returned, he was more charming, more humorous, and even more mature. She wanted to follow her heart, just once. Life is only lived once, and love shouldn't be confined. Ji Qingwan had already made up her mind and decided not to dwell on it further. She took a taxi home. She had originally planned to call a ride-hailing service, but then remembered that she and Gu Bei had broken up, and with her primary source of income gone, it was better to save a little. The car that arrived was a cheap, plastic-feeling electric vehicle with a strong smell. The car didn't feel like a vehicle for passengers. It felt more like the driver's home. She had heard that some ride-hailing drivers spent their whole day in their cars, even sleeping there at night. The smell inside made her uncomfortable. It was hot outside, and the car's air conditioner wasn't on. The comfort level was nowhere near the Maybach or the G-Class that Gu Bei had used. Even if the air conditioner had been on, Ji Qingwan would have had to open the window to air out the smell. The night air wasn't cool at all, and Ji Qingwan felt an inexplicable frustration. The driver was playing loud voice messages from a group chat, which only added to her annoyance. Ji Qingwan closed her eyes and tried to hold her breath, enduring it the whole way. Finally, they reached her upscale neighborhood. She regretted not accepting Gu Bei's offer to send her home earlier. That Porsche had really been beautiful. As soon as the car stopped, Ji Qingwan eagerly opened the door to breathe fresh air. When she got home, she kicked off her new Prada high heels and collapsed onto the leather sofa. In Zhonghai, where every inch of land is worth a fortune, it was rare for someone to rent a fully renovated two-bedroom apartment by themselves. Most people chose to share, often in shabby, old complexes. This apartment had been specifically chosen by Gu Bei for Ji Qingwan. It was close to Zhonghai University and had convenient transportation. There were international malls, hospitals, parks, and music squares nearby. Everything was very convenient. Ji Qingwan had always liked this apartment. But now that Gu Bei wasn't here, it felt like something was missing. The room felt empty. The lighting wasn't as bright and warm as it used to be. Buzz buzz. Her phone vibrated. Ji Qingwan thought it might be Gu Bei, so she quickly picked up the phone. But it was a message from the landlord, notifying her that the rent would increase by 20% next month, and that she needed to pay a year's rent before the end of the month. The rent was originally 10,000 a month, but with the increase, it would be 12,000, totaling 144,000 for the year. Ji Qingwan didn't even need to check her balance. She knew it wouldn't be enough to pay for the rent. Over the years, Gu Bei had covered her living expenses while she focused on her studies. He had paid for meals, shopping, and even her flight tickets. She had just graduated and planned to stay at the university. How could she possibly afford the rent? Even if she started working, her salary wouldn't be enough to cover half of the monthly rent without eating or drinking. Ji Qingwan didn't know if Gu Bei would help her pay the rent. But now that they had broken up, she felt too embarrassed to ask. If she had known, she wouldn't have added the landlord's contact info. Then the rent reminders would have gone to Gu Bei. Ji Qingwan was forced to prepare for the worst. If Gu Bei didn't pay, she would have to apply for a dorm room at the university. But the dorms were nowhere near as good as this place. The reason she moved out of the dorms in the first place was because she didn't like living there. Suddenly, Ji Qingwan realized that by breaking off the engagement, she had lost not just Gu Bei, but also the carefree life she had now. A sliver of regret quietly began to creep in, and the harsh reality, like a spider's web, slowly began to close in on her path. Chapter 2, Breaking Up Cleanly, Swiftly. The sudden rent increase felt like a heavy mountain pressing down on Ji Qingwan. She checked her balance, and there was just over 10,000 left. Not only was there no way she could pay the rent, but her everyday expenses would also fall far short. From now on, she would have to tighten her belt. Over the past few years, she had never asked her family for money, nor did she take up any part-time jobs. All her expenses had been covered by Gu Bei. The 10,000 left was actually leftover from the red envelopes Gu Bei had given her during the holidays. Ji Qingwan's eyes brightened when she saw the bag at her feet. If worst comes to worst, she could sell her bag and the new haute couture clothes. She believed Gu Bei wouldn't ask her to return these gifts. She was sure how much they could sell for, but if she sold everything, it might fetch about 100,000. That would be enough to cover rent on a smaller place, with a 1-month deposit and 3 months rent upfront. But if she used all of that to pay rent, it would really hurt. Ji Qingwan told herself that the house was just a temporary residence after all. She didn't sleep there during the day. She had lived in school dorms before, and the teachers' dorms might be a better option. If the apartment was smaller, so be it. She couldn't go running back to Gu Bei over something like this. She would only be looked down upon, and she'd end up looking down on herself too. Since she was about to embrace a new life, she needed to sever ties with the past. If something is left half-cut, it's unfair to everyone. But no matter how good the teachers' dorms were, they would still be a step down from the apartment she was living in now. Besides, since she had just started working, she might not even be able to apply for one. Getting the opportunity to stay on campus had actually been arranged by Gu Bei behind the scenes. Gu Bei hadn't told her, not wanting to dampen her spirits. Many people couldn't see their own worth. Ji Qingwan had been sheltered too much, pampered by Gu Bei to the point of being spoiled. Now reality would slowly teach her how to survive. Ji Qingwan received numerous messages, but none were from Gu Bei. She suddenly realized that his profile picture had changed. It was no longer their couple photo. A vague discomfort stirred in her chest. Had he drawn a clear line so quickly? No lingering attachments, no long-winded farewell message. Even if it was a peaceful breakup, wasn't he this a little too indifferent? Ji Qingwan suddenly remembered a phrase she had read online before. The more infatuated someone is, the more ruthless they become. She clicked on Gu Bei's profile picture frame, hoping to see any updates from him. But to her surprise, when she clicked, there was only a blank space, no updates at all. Ji Qingwan frowned slightly. Had he deleted all his posts? Was he completely cutting ties with the past? After exiting his profile, Ji Qingwan suddenly considered another possibility. What if Gu Bei had deleted her? That would explain why she couldn't see his posts. She hesitated for a long moment, unsure whether to send a message. She had a strong sense that it was the latter possibility. And that was even harder to accept. He had been so calm when they broke up, and now he had blocked her. What had their years together meant? If this had happened before, Gu Bei would definitely have seen her home. Even if she went home on her own, Gu Bei would have waited for her message to feel reassured. But now, Ji Qingwan hesitated for a long time before finally sending a message. I've arrived. There are still some of your things here. Do you want them back? She hit send. An eye-catching exclamation mark appeared in Ji Qingwan's view. The other party has enabled friend verification. You are not yet friends. Please send a verification request. Once they approve, you can chat. At the end, there was also a link with blue text, send friend verification. Ji Qingwan froze. This wasn't a block, but rather, a removal from friends. If it were a block, it would say, message sent, but rejected by the other party. When blocked, you could still eventually be removed from the blacklist. But to remove someone from friends, that meant a complete deletion. All chat history was gone. She would have to add them again to chat. Ji Qingwan didn't expect Gu Bei to act so quickly, so decisively. In the past, whenever they changed phones, Gu Bei would always back up their chat history beforehand, to avoid losing it. It was something precious to him. But now, he just deleted her without a word. No, that's not right, there wasn't even a word. Everything that had happened since the incident at UV restaurant was different from what Ji Qingwan had imagined. Gu Bei only asked, have you thought it through? No pleas for her to stay, no hesitation, just a clean break. Can a relationship really be ended so easily? Ji Qingwan didn't believe it. She was more inclined to think that Gu Bei loved her too much and was afraid that he couldn't control himself from messaging her, so he deleted her from his friends list. To confirm, Ji Qingwan called Gu Bei. As expected, the call didn't go through. Ji Qingwan didn't think too much more about it and threw her phone onto the sofa. If she moved out before the end of the month, it would mean one less night here. She ran the bath, then lay in the tub, letting the warm water envelop her delicate, smooth body, surrounded by petals and bubbles. Ji Qingwan recalled an evening not long after she had moved in. She and Gu Bei had sat in the bathtub, sipping wine and discussing life. Their souls had been so in tune. But it seemed like those moments would never come again. Had she shared a soul connection with Yang Chen? Ji Qingwan wiped her face, pushing away the chaotic thoughts. After applying her facial cream, she returned to the bedroom. The room was very quiet. She turned on the brightest crystal chandelier. It was a bit too glaring, but it couldn't drive away the invisible sense of loneliness. Ji Qingwan no longer had the interest to message Yang Chen. Now, all she could think about was the indifferent back of Gu Bei as he turned and walked away. It was as if she and Gu Bei were now from two completely different worlds. Two people who had once been the closest to each other were now like strangers, no longer in contact, never to be again. Ji Qingwan tossed and turned, unable to sleep. She forced herself to stop thinking about it. But her mind refused to obey. The more she tried not to think about something, the more it lingered. The harder she tried to forget someone, the harder it became. Ji Qingwan finally fell into a deep sleep in the early hours of the morning. But even in her dream, Gu Bei appeared. And beside him stood a girl. She couldn't make out the girl's face, but she had an aura of beauty about her. Ji Qingwan couldn't help but walk closer, trying to see the girl's face more clearly. But no matter how much she walked forward, the distance between them kept growing further and further. Finally, the two of them turned their backs to her and walked into their halls of marriage. There were cheers and loud congratulations all around. But it felt as though Ji Qingwan had become invisible. No one noticed her. When the officiant announced that they would exchange rings, Ji Qingwan cried out, "No!" Ji Qingwan woke up with a start. It took a while before she could shake off the disorientation of the dream. The dream had been so real. For some reason, Ji Qingwan had a strong, unsettling premonition what she had just dreamed might someday become her reality. And it would be a nightmare that she would never wake from. Chapter 3, 3 Years to Sharpen a Sword, Preparing for the IPO. Ji Qingwan had long been accustomed to having Gu Bei by her side. When she woke up in the morning, she instinctively wanted to nestle into his arms. But there was no one there. Now, no one was there to fetch her a glass of water when she felt thirsty. She sat up, rubbing her slightly messy hair. Looking at her phone, she realized it was already past 11. She had tossed and turned all night, unable to sleep, and only managed to fall asleep in the early morning hours. Ji Qingwan felt uncomfortable. All over her throat was dry, her head hurt, and she seemed to have slept in a bad position. She touched her stiff neck. It was definitely a crick in her neck. But the discomfort in her body was nothing compared to the unease in her heart. The scenes from her dream were still vivid in her mind. Ji Qingwan still hadn't received any messages from Gu Bei, nor had she gotten any friend verification requests. A thought crossed her mind. Could it be that Gu Bei had already found someone he liked? Maybe he had used her as an excuse to break up, and now he was walking down the aisle with another girl. If this were the past, Ji Qingwan would never have thought such a thing. Because she had always been certain that in Gu Bei's eyes, there was only her. His heart was all hers, and there was no room for anyone else. But now, she wasn't so sure. Her stomach suddenly protested. She hadn't eaten much last night, and hadn't had breakfast this morning, so her stomach was growling with hunger. Ji Qingwan's stomach had always been delicate, and it was only thanks to Gu Bei's careful attention that it had gotten better over time. In the past, she would always wake up to a breakfast that Gu Bei had lovingly prepared for her. But now, it was no longer there. The dining table was empty. She opened the fridge and found some ingredients, but she didn't know how to cook. With her stomach hurting from hunger, she had no interest in learning how to cook at the moment. She grabbed an apple to fill her stomach for now and decided to order takeout. There were plenty of restaurants and eateries around the neighborhood. But because of her stomach issues, she couldn't eat anything unsanitary, so her options were limited. Ji Qingwan found a restaurant that Gu Bei often ordered from. He had personally checked the kitchen and assured her that it was clean and the food tasted great. The dishes were exquisite, and the packaging was high-end. But soon, Ji Qingwan realized the downside of this restaurant. It was expensive. Gu Bei had always paid for it before, so she hadn't noticed. 3 dishes cost over 200 yuan. If she had ordered for dishes and a soup, it would have come to around 500 yuan. Ji Qingwan had become accustomed to eating from this restaurant, but her bank balance clearly told her to be frugal. If she kept eating like this, she would soon drain her entire bank card. Even if she got paid, it wouldn't be enough to cover her daily meals. Ji Qingwan felt a wave of inexplicable frustration. In the past, she never had to think so much about money, never had to count every penny when eating. But now, things were different. In the end, she still placed the order. Occasionally treating herself wasn't such a big deal. Once she started school, the cafeteria meals would be much cheaper, and the hygiene would be guaranteed. Ji Qingwan wrapped her arms around her chest, curling up on the sofa. It hadn't even been a day without Gu Bei, and already, she felt incredibly out of place. But she kept telling herself. This was just the beginning, so it was normal to feel uncomfortable. She would get used to it over time. No matter who was gone, she could still live well. Ji Qingwan continued scrolling through her phone, but there was still no message from Gu Bei. If she was struggling to get used to this, how was Gu Bei doing? Ji Qingwan imagined that Gu Bei must be feeling awful right now, probably hadn't slept all night, his eyes bloodshot. He hadn't gone to the office, and he would likely be in a slump for a long time before he could move on. These were all scenarios she imagined. But the reality was completely different from what Ji Qingwan thought. Gu Bei hadn't lost any sleep. He got up as usual and had already spent a fulfilling morning. Before work, he had gone for a swim in the pool at a 5-star hotel and enjoyed a lavish breakfast in the hotel's restaurant. He then went to the office to hold a morning meeting and reviewed the current projects. He had met with an important client and secured a 3 million yuan order. Now, he was accompanying the two project managers to a meal with the client. Ji Qingwan had no idea that Gu Bei had weathered countless difficult days. He had long developed a strong, unshakable heart. Gu Bei cherished love, but love was not his whole world. Love had once been the driving force behind his efforts. But losing love wouldn't make him stop moving forward. Life had to continue, and now it was time for him to live for himself. Between work and love, he had previously chosen to prioritize love, while ensuring that work ran smoothly. The hardest part was himself. He had to sacrifice more time to accompany Ji Qingwan. But he had done it willingly. Now, with one burden lifted, he felt much lighter. No matter how busy work was, he could handle everything efficiently and calmly. After finishing the seafood feast, Gu Bei arranged for the driver to take the client to the airport. Then, he returned to the office for a short break. During his free time, Gu Bei thought of Ji Qingwan. But he didn't send a message or make a call. He wasn't the type to be overly sentimental, to cling to someone or beg them. Love shouldn't be about one person constantly sacrificing for the other. This breakup had made Gu Bei realize something. In love, the effort put in and the returns wouldn't always be equal. The greater the sunk cost, the harder it was to walk away. They had loved, and now they had separated. It was a done deal. Now, Gu Bei's mind was focused on how to handle the engagement. The engagement ceremony had been grand, with many invitations sent out. Fortunately, the wedding invitations hadn't been sent yet, or it would have been even more complicated. Knock knock knock. The sound of a knock interrupted Gu Bei's thoughts. Gu Bei sat up straight. Come in. A woman with a flawless appearance, a pear-shaped figure, and wearing a professional skirt suit entered the room, holding a notebook. Boss, the people from Qiancheng law firm are here. Send them to meeting room 2. They are already in meeting room 2, Zhenliner smiled slightly. Make sure the managers from the marketing, finance, and HR departments join as well. They've all been notified. Gu Bei nodded and gave Zhenliner an appreciative glance. Having a perfect secretary made things much easier. You can join the meeting too and take the minutes. Zhenliner raised the notebook in her arms and winked. I'm ready. The bustling view that had been hidden by the notebook was now fully revealed. Gu Bei grabbed the black notebook on his desk. Let us go. At this moment, Gu Bei exuded confidence and a powerful aura. Zhenliner followed behind, her eyes glowing with admiration. Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, boss. Gu Bei nodded slightly and entered the meeting room. Qiancheng Law Firm was the largest law firm in Zhonghai City. Their business covered a wide range of areas, including IPOs, private financing, reverse mergers, post-listing issuance, and more. Today, Gu Bei was meeting with Qiancheng Law Firm to discuss an initial public offering IPO. 3 years of hard work had led to this moment, the time to unsheath the sword. Ji Qingwan had no idea what she had missed. Chapter 4. Parents come to persuade them to break up. 3 days passed in a blink of an eye. Ji Qingwan still didn't receive any message from Gu Bei. She realized that Gu Bei was serious. Ji Qingwan didn't have a good time during these 3 days. The landlord saw that she didn't reply, so he called her several times. At first, she wanted to pretend to be busy and let the landlord contact Gu Bei. Maybe Gu Bei would help pay the rent for the next year. After all, more than 100,000 yuan is really nothing to Gu Bei. But for her, it's higher than her salary, and she can't afford it at all. Ji Qingwan still wants to continue living here, so it's not easy to answer the landlord's rent increase. If she continues to rent, she has to agree to the price increase. If she doesn't rent, the landlord may start bringing people to see the house this month. He won't really wait until she moves out to find a tenant. And maybe through this opportunity, they can still maintain a friendship. Ji Qingwan has already regretted it a little. You can still be friends after breaking up, you don't have to be strangers. Ji Qingwan admitted that after the breakup, she was not used to the life without Gu Bei. If she could go back to that night 3 days ago, she would do it differently. At least if they had talked a little more at that time, it would not be like this now. But the words had been spoken, and the matter was settled. Ji Qingwan was unwilling to take the initiative to speak. If she lowered her head once, it would be difficult to maintain her original position. She did not believe that Gu Bei could really endure the life without her. It was already the limit for him to be able to resist not coming to see her for 2 or 3 days. It would definitely not exceed a week. Even if there was a conflict in the past, no matter who was right or wrong, Gu Bei would take the initiative to apologize and reconcile with her in the end. Because she did not sleep well at night, Ji Qingwan took a nap in the afternoon. Not long after she fell asleep, she was awakened by the ringing of her cell phone. Ji Qingwan's first reaction was still that it was Gu Bei calling. Unfortunately, it was not. Ji Qingwan slid over the answer button. "Hello, Mom." Yang Xulan's eager voice came from the other end of the phone. "Xiaowan, is Gu Bei free these 2 days?" "What's wrong?" "He's at the company, right?" "I think so." "What's the matter? Aren't you engaged?" "Your dad and I are thinking about buying a wedding house as soon as possible. Let's get the marriage certificate first. Our family will pay some money, and Gu Bei will pay the majority. Your names will be written on it." Ji Qingwan was silent for a while, and then confessed, "Mom, Gu Bei and I broke up." What? Yang Xulan said anxiously, "What did you say? Break up? Did you have a conflict?" "No." "Why break up if there is no such thing? Where can I find someone with such good conditions like Gu Bei? You are going to piss me off to death." "Mom, I have someone I like." The other end of the phone was stagnant. "I don't care who you like, I only have Gu Bei. We quarreled at the head of the bed and made up at the foot of the bed. Don't be petty, get married first." "Mom, you don't understand me at all." "I don't understand you. Gu Bei is so good to you, he can make money, and he doesn't look bad. What's wrong with him? Anyway, you don't understand. I have broken up with him." "You?" When Ji Qingwan hung up the phone, she knew this would be the result, so she didn't tell her parents before. Besides, in her eyes, love is a matter between 2 people and has little to do with family. Gu Bei is very good to her parents, but you can't just tie love to this. If it's Yang Chen, he will definitely be good to her and her parents. Under the same circumstances, why not find someone you like more? If you really want to get married, there will be no chance. The phone rang again, and Ji Qingwan didn't answer it. But it rang again and again. Ji Qingwan chose to turn off the phone. The world is finally quiet. But Ji Qingwan's heart could not calm down. She also realized that she was a little impulsive. Yang Chen did not make a promise. If she went to Yang Chen now and told him that she had broken off the engagement and broke up with Gu Bei, will Yang Chen agree to be together and get married? Ji Qingwan was not sure. After all, she liked the dazzling Yang Chen at the beginning. Yang Chen now has a little more maturity and has more things to consider. She just returned to China to start a business and may not be willing to get married immediately. Ji Qingwan decided to adjust her state and go to Yang Chen tomorrow. Anyway, she has already taken this step. Once the bow is drawn, there is no turning back. Since the breakup was proposed, it is time to go for a better love and life. Ji Qingwan knew that Yang Chen's family was very good. Otherwise, he would not have gone abroad halfway through college. He did not plan to work after returning, but to start a company. Ji Qingwan believed that her parents would be satisfied after meeting Yang Chen. Handsome, well-mannered, from a wealthy family, a returnee, and ambitious. Combined in all aspects, he is no worse than Gu Bei. Ji Qingwan fell asleep and had another dream. But this time it was a beautiful dream. In the dream, Yang Chen booked an amusement park for her as the wedding venue. A sea of red roses surrounded her. Romantic, grand, and unique. She rode the carousel with Yang Chen. Yang Chen was wearing a decent and handsome suit, holding a large bouquet of roses in his hand and looking back at her with a doting smile on his face. Then he took her to ride the roller coaster. The roller coaster was also filled with flowers. When diving from a high place, she and Yang Chen shouted happily. Bang! The roller coaster crashed with a loud noise. Ji Qingwan woke up with a trace of fear in her eyes. Bang bang bang. She heard the knock on the door. Ji Qingwan got out of bed, put on her slippers, looked through the peephole, and then opened the door. The people outside the door were not Gu Bei, but her parents. Mom, Dad. You also learned to turn off the phone and disappear, which pissed me off. Yang Xulan walked into the room with an angry face. Ji Adorn looked at the living room with a serious expression, Gu Bei is in the company? I don't know. Yang Shulan put her hands on her waist. What do you think? R. I ask you, Gu Bei is so good, why did you break up with him? Mom, a forced melon is not sweet. Don't force me. Then why have you been with Gu Bei for the past few years? It seems that you were unwilling. Did we force you? Ji Qingwan was speechless. Of course not, she and Gu Bei did have a happy time. But now she doesn't love Gu Bei that much, and she finds that she has never forgotten Yang Chen. Speak up, you little bitch. I'm really going to piss you off. Ji Qingwan was silent for a long while. Mom, I don't have any feelings for him anymore. Ji Yadong frowned and said, did Gu Bei propose the breakup? No, I did. What did he say? He said, we won't owe each other anything and won't bother each other in the future. Yang Shulan poked Ji Qingwan's forehead with her hand. Would Gu Bei say that if you didn't break up? Did he come to see you? No. Ji Qingwan turned her head away. He may not like me that much. You're stupid. He's sad. Do we need to tell you how much Gu Bei likes you? And what about the person you like? Better than Gu Bei, he just returned to China to start a company. Mom, you will definitely like him after meeting him, he is really better than Gu Bei. Yang Shulan frowned slightly, her anger subsided a little. Then even if you want to break up with him, you should get the marriage certificate and buy the house first. If we break up now, what can you get? Chapter 5. One wants to break off the engagement, the other has a fiancé. Ji Qingwan was not surprised that her mother would say that. This was not the first time that Yang Shulan had persuaded her to buy a wedding house as soon as possible. But she had never made up her mind before. Because in order to count the common property after marriage, you must first get a marriage certificate. If you don't get a marriage certificate, it can only be counted as personal property. Ji Qingwan still has Yang Chen in her heart and doesn't want to get married too early. Now that Yang Chen has returned to China, after meeting, she finally made a decision. Break off the engagement and break up with Gu Bei. She doesn't want diamond rings, houses, etc. Yang Chen will give her these things in the future. Compared to material things, she wants spiritual perfect love more. If she gets a marriage certificate, it is equivalent to announcing it to everyone. Even if Yang Chen doesn't mind, he will have some grudges in his heart. It's at least reasonable to just break up after engagement. After all, she is not married. As for giving her body to Gu Bei, there is nothing she can do. Yang Chen has had a girlfriend before. As long as they can spend the rest of their lives together, the past is not that important. There are still plenty of years waiting for them to spend together in the future. The arrival and pressure of their parents made Ji Qingwan more determined. Ji Qingwan raised his head. Mom. I won't get back together with Gu Bei. I want to pursue my own love. You. Ji Yadong pulled his wife behind him. Mom and Dad are not forcing you to marry anyone. But can you let us meet that Yang Chen? We can only feel relieved after we meet him. Yang Shulan asked directly, how much do you want to give as a gift? Where is their house? How big is it? What car does he drive? Mom. What for? I can't even ask. Your dad and I worked hard to raise you. Are we going to hand you over to a poor boy? Gu Bei was poor back then, but hasn't he proved himself? Then you are not with Gu Bei now. We always need to know the other, is this person really better than Gu Bei? Your mother is right. Ji Yadong said, Xiao Wan, we are all for your own good, and we don't want you to suffer in the future. Ji Qingwan was silent for a while, then I'll ask Chen when he is free, and have a meal together. That's right. Yang Shulan finally smiled, and Gu Bei is also a good boy, don't be so willful. I'm not willful. Ji Yadong said, your mother means that if you and Yang Chen are not suitable after being together, and you find that Gu Bei is better, don't say it so absolutely, there will be a chance to get back together. This time Ji Qingwan didn't refute. She also thought of this today. Ji Qingwan did not deny that she and Gu Bei had been in love and had deep feelings. What if Yang Chen did not meet her expectations and did not want to marry her? Then Gu Bei is still the best choice. Gu Bei treats her well unconditionally, so she doesn't have to worry about cheating or worrying about life anymore. Ji Qingwan took her parents to a restaurant outside for a meal and sent them off. After returning to the rental house, she thought for a long time. Yang Chen was still her first choice. The next day, after dressing up, Ji Qingwan put on a newly bought Ports dress. She didn't like some branded fashions with big logos. Ports is a relatively low-key international first-line brand. The design is simple but elegant, with good texture and comfortable to wear. The dark blue dress on Ji Qingwan was bought when she went shopping last time, and it cost more than 4,000 yuan. There are many similar high-end brand clothes in the closet, all bought by Gu Bei. Ji Qingwan turned around in front of the fitting mirror, picked up the Hermes bag and went out. The clothes and shoes are low-key, but the bag can't be too low-key. With the Bulgari blue balloon on her wrist, Ji Qingwan's outfit can buy a house in a third-tier city. Confident women are the most beautiful. Ji Qingwan, who is naturally beautiful, walks on the street, and the rate of turning back is almost 100%. Whether it is a man or a woman, they couldn't help but take a second look. Ji Qingwan came to the agreed coffee shop and sat down, and found that Yang Chen hadn't come yet. It was already 10 minutes past the agreed time. If it was Gu Bei, he would have arrived long ago. Ji Qingwan ordered a cup of flat white and sat elegantly to taste the coffee. After a long while, Yang Chen, wearing sunglasses, came. "I'm sorry, I just met an old lady who got lost. I called the police and waited for the police to come, so I was delayed." "You are so nice. Did the old lady go home later?" "She should live nearby. I was afraid that you would wait for a long time, so I hurried over. I didn't expect to be late." "It's okay, I just arrived too." Yang Chen smiled slightly, snapped his fingers, and asked the waiter to come over. "1 cup of iced Americano." "Sir, you can scan the code to place an order, or go to the counter to order." "Then I'll scan the code." Yang Chen shrugged at Ji Qingwan. "I just returned to China, and there are many things I'm not used to. There's a big difference between America and China, but it'll be fine after a while. I still prefer it there, it's more free and there are more opportunities. But returning to China to start a business is also a contribution." Ji Qingwan's eyes lit up. Many senior talents stay there. "Yes, the salary and benefits are different. Isn't it said that the scientific research environment there is better?" "Well, it's just a nice thing to say. In fact, if the money is in place, everything can be discussed." Yang Chen talked freely. In recent years, major domestic airlines have recruited many experienced foreign captains. Each of them has an annual salary of several million. It can't be that the flying environment is better, right? It's the same principle, it's the same everywhere. Foreign countries also pursue better salary and benefits. Ji Qingwan can clearly feel that Yang Chen holds the view that the moon is rounder abroad. She had originally considered studying abroad. But due to some special reasons, she was delayed and didn't go for the postgraduate entrance examination. However, Ji Qingwan has traveled abroad with Gu Bei frequently in the past 2 years, and it's not that she hasn't seen the moon abroad. There are big differences between different countries, and there are also big differences between different regions in the same country. And many people have rough lives and refined friend circles. Ji Qingwan didn't comment on Yang Chen's opinion. Zhonghai is an international first-tier city, and its development level far exceeds that of many countries. If economic conditions permit, you can settle in Zhonghai and go abroad a few times a year, which is also very good. And the domestic security is guaranteed, and many foreign regions are relatively chaotic. Ji Qingwan asked tentatively, "Where do you plan to settle in the future?" "It depends on the situation. Several of my friends have obtained green cards and settled abroad. But I still plan to develop in China for the time being." Ji Qingwan nodded slightly. She was sure that Yang Chen would stay in China. "By the way, Qingwan, I heard that you are engaged to Gu Bei." "Yeah." Yang Chen said disappointedly, "If I had known, I would have come back earlier." "You deserve better." Ji Qingwan gathered her hair, a little shy. "Are you serious about what you said before?" Yang Chen grabbed Ji Qingwan's fair little hand. "Of course I am serious. I fell in love with you when I was in college. If my parents hadn't forced me to go abroad, I would definitely not leave." Ji Qingwan let Yang Chen hold her hand. "What if I broke up with Gu Bei?" Yang Chen was stunned and his hand loosened. "You broke up with Gu Bei? Aren't you engaged?" "I'm just engaged to him, not married yet." Yang Chen smiled. "That's great. Qingwan, let's celebrate your freedom today." Ji Qingwan didn't wait for Yang Chen's confession. So he asked, "Do you like me?" "Yes, of course I do." Yang Chen looked at Ji Qingwan affectionately. "I have liked you since college, and it has never changed." Ji Qingwan also smiled happily. Her decision was not wrong. "Chen, I am willing to break up with Gu Bei for you. Will you treat me well for the rest of my life?" "Of course. But only in the next life." A sudden voice sounded. A woman with delicate makeup and phoenix eyes stood up from the back table, walked around the table and looked at Ji Qingwan coldly. "Bingxia?" Yang Chen said in surprise. Why are you here?" "Chen, who is she?" Shui Bingxia said expressionlessly. "I am his fiancé." Ji Qingwan was struck by lightning. Chapter 6 Let Go, Don't Contact Again. Ji Qingwan was stunned. She never thought that Yang Chen, who just said that he would treat her well for the rest of his life, actually had a fiancé. And it didn't look fake. Yang Chen is a scumbag who plays with women's feelings. Then wouldn't I be a fool? Shui Bingxia just glanced at the dazed Ji Qingwan, then raised the coffee cup on the table. Then poured it all on Yang Chen's face. Par. The turbid coffee flowed down. Yang Chen's handsome face became very embarrassed, and his white shirt was all dirty. A trace of anger flashed in his eyes, but he still held it back. "Bingxia, listen to me. This is a misunderstanding." Shui Bingxia raised her chin, and her cold phoenix eyes were full of disdain. "No need to explain to me. I have investigated you a long time ago. You can fool my dad, but you can't fool me. I have recorded it just now. You should disappear consciously. Otherwise, you will bear the consequences." "Humph." Shui Bingxia snorted coldly and walked away with long legs. Yang Chen whispered to Ji Qingwan, "Qingwan, let's talk about this another day. I have my reasons." After that, Yang Chen took 2 tissues, wiped his face, and quickly chased after him. The people in the hall looked at Ji Qingwan with strange eyes. Ji Qingwan, whose face turned pale, picked up her bag and lowered her head to leave, her speed getting faster and faster. As a result, she accidentally got her high heels stuck in the cracks of the bricks. Ji Qingwan fell to the ground, cried out in pain, and frowned. Tears instantly filled her eyes. The ankle sprain was one aspect, but the grievance and humiliation in her heart were the root cause of her collapse. She still foolishly believed that Yang Chen loved her as much as he did in college. As a result, Yang Chen even had a fiancé. What's funny is that she broke up with Gu Bei for Yang Chen. Ji Qingwan took out her cell phone and called Gu Bei. "Sorry, the user you dialed is temporarily unavailable, sorry." Ji Qingwan was filled with remorse. She burst into tears on the street. But Gu Bei would not appear in front of her. He would not carry her on his back and walk home slowly with his high heels. Finally, Ji Qingwan could only pull out her high heels and take a taxi home. The heel fell off and she could not walk normally. She was about to collapse after walking just 200 meters from the gate of the community to her home. After finally getting home, she realized that her ankle was red and swollen. It hurt so much when she touched it lightly. Ji Qingwan called Gu Bei again, but still could not get through. So she sent a message directly. Even if the number was blocked, there would normally be a prompt. But she sent several messages in a row, and all of them fell into the sea. No one replied. Tears burst out uncontrollably. Woo 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 tilde. Ji Qingwan lay on the pillow and cried. She should have known Yang Chen's true face earlier. He had a fiancé who flirted with her. But she believed it. Now she was not only deceived, but also lost Gu Bei. The double blow of body and mind made her extremely regretful and uncomfortable. The ankle was getting more and more swollen. Ji Qingwan couldn't stand the pain. So she dragged her painful body and moved to the door. It was hard to wait for the neighbor to come back. Ji Qingwan hurriedly opened the door. "Auntie, can you lend me your phone to make a call? Is it out of service?" "No. Mine is broken." "Here." "Thank you, Auntie." Ji Qingwan realized that she couldn't even remember Gu Bei's phone number. She could only dial while looking at her phone. Ji Qingwan turned her body to avoid the sight of the neighbor aunt. The call was finally connected, and Gu Bei's voice rang out. "Hello, who is this?" Ji Qingwan cried with joy. "Gu Bei, it's me, I sprained my foot." The other end of the phone was silent for a while before saying, "Look for Yang Chen, don't call me anymore." "No, listen to me, he Before Ji Qingwan finished speaking, the phone was silent and the call was hung up. So she ignored the surprised look of the neighbor aunt and called Gu Bei again. But the call didn't go through again. Either it was hung up directly, or it was just blocked. Ji Qingwan put down the phone, his eyes were blank. The neighbor aunt couldn't help but said, "Are you still calling?" Ji Qingwan shook her head and handed over the phone. "Can't your boyfriend come over?" Ji Qingwan forced a smile. "He's at work, so he can't come over for now." "Your feet are swollen, go see a doctor early. You can apply ice first. By the way, I have safflower oil at home, wait for me, I'll give it to you." The neighbor aunt took out the key to open the door, and soon brought a bottle of safflower oil. Ji Qingwan took it, bowed her head and said, "Thank you." Then she closed the door. She leaned against the door, her face full of tears. The neighbor aunt muttered to herself outside the door. "A good guy, why did they break up? It's a pity." Ji Qingwan's face was pale and he smiled miserably. Even the neighbor aunt who didn't communicate much knew the good of Gu Bei. Why was he so confused? Ji Qingwan slowly slid down and collapsed on the ground. Jinmao Tower. Gu Bei stood in front of the huge floor-to-ceiling window and looked into the distance, his eyes complicated. He recognized Ji Qingwan's voice as soon as he heard it. When he heard that the latter had sprained his foot, his first reaction was to ask where he was and then rushed over. But he soon realized that he and Ji Qingwan had broken up. To be precise, it was not just a breakup, but a breakup after engagement. From the moment Ji Qingwan returned the engagement diamond ring, the relationship between the two had ended. Gu Bei could not directly cut off his love for Ji Qingwan. What he could do was to control himself. Even if Ji Qingwan regretted it, he should not get back together. This time Ji Qingwan broke off the engagement for Yang Chen. What about next time? Gu Bei didn't know what happened to Ji Qingwan today. But he would not fall deeply in love with Ji Qingwan again. He and Ji Qingwan were already in the past. Gu Bei couldn't say the words of blessing. Leaving each other's world is the best ending. As for asking Ji Qingwan to get back together, Gu Bei would never do that in his life. Since he chose Yang Chen and sprained his foot, he would find Yang Chen. When they were together, Gu Bei was willing to give the best to Ji Qingwan. After they broke up, he would not be a licker. There will no longer be a person named Gu Bei in this world. And no matter when and where, he will always wait for Ji Qingwan. Having loved and been hurt, in the long years ahead, Gu Bei will no longer embarrass himself, but learn how to treat himself well and love himself. Chapter 7. The explanation is not perfect, just believe it. Ji Qingwan cried all night, but she didn't wait for Gu Bei. Finally, she applied some safflower oil and took a taxi to the hospital the next day to treat the sprain. In fact, the sprain was not very serious, but it was swollen and looked a little scary. But it must hurt. Not only did it hurt when walking, but even if you didn't touch it, you would feel pain from time to time. But compared to the pain in her ankle, Ji Qingwan's heart hurt more. In just a few days, her life collapsed. What white moonlight, it was actually a black moonlight, trying to deceive her feelings and body. Fortunately, she didn't give herself to Yang Chen last time. But she made a big mistake. She should never have broken up with Gu Bei. She even returned the engagement ring to Gu Bei and severed the relationship. Ji Qingwan regretted it. But she attributed it all to Yang Chen's mistake. If Yang Chen hadn't used sweet words to deceive her, she wouldn't have broken up with Gu Bei. It was all Yang Chen's fault. She was also at fault for trusting others. Ji Qingwan had already realized her mistake. She wanted to save her relationship with Gu Bei. The sprained foot was her punishment, pain for her mistake. Ji Qingwan didn't think she had made an unforgivable mistake. She didn't cheat. She had only met Yang Chen once before. It was like catching up with a friend she hadn't seen for years and having a meal. They didn't go to get a room. She didn't really get together with Yang Chen after the breakup. They just had a cup of coffee in a cafe. Ji Qingwan was eager to get back together with Gu Bei. But now all her contact methods had been blocked by Gu Bei. Even if she wanted to contact him, she couldn't. Plus, with her injured foot, it was inconvenient for her to go out. Ji Qingwan could only wait until her foot injury got a little better before looking for Gu Bei. She had already thought about it. She would appear in front of Gu Bei on crutches, with a few more bandages around her ankle. Gu Bei would definitely be soft-hearted. As long as you are soft-hearted, you will forgive her. But these 2 days are undoubtedly the most tormenting. Every minute and every second is so hard to bear. When Ji Qingwan was thinking about how to get back together with Gu Bei, Yang Chen called. Ji Qingwan didn't want to answer the phone at first, but she thought about Yang Chen's words that day and finally answered the phone. But she was still very angry. At that time, Yang Chen did not refute the woman's claim that she was his fiancée. It made her look like a mistress. Ji Qingwan answered the phone and wanted to see how Yang Chen would defend himself. Hearing Yang Chen's serious apology, she decided to give Yang Chen another chance to explain. More than an hour later, Ji Qingwan opened the door. Yang Chen, with an apologetic face, said, "Qingwan, I'm sorry, it was my fault that day." Ji Qingwan turned around and walked towards the sofa with a cold face. Yang Chen quickly closed the door and helped to support her, but Ji Qingwan shook his hand away. "Don't touch me." Yang Chen knew that Ji Qingwan was angry. But he also knew that Ji Qingwan was willing to give him a chance to explain and let him into their house, which meant that he was not that angry. "Just coax him." Yang Chen asked with concern, "How did your foot get hurt?" Ji Qingwan didn't say anything, but a hint of resentment flashed in his eyes. "Did you twist it that day?" Snap. A crisp slap sounded. Yang Chen slapped himself. "I'm sorry, it's all my fault." Ji Qingwan was shocked by Yang Chen's behavior. "What are you doing?" "Qingwan, I want to confess something to you. I wanted to tell you last time, but I didn't expect that woman to show up." "Who is she?" Yang Chen sighed and said the words he had thought of in advance in a sad and melancholy tone. "Qingwan, to be honest with you, my family is going bankrupt." "R." Ji Qingwan opened her mouth slightly, surprised. "My family's business has been growing bigger and bigger in the past few years, and we've taken big steps. Some time ago, something went wrong, the capital chain was broken, and old customers were poached. There were all kinds of troubles, and my father worked hard every day and was so tired that he was hospitalized." Ji Qingwan couldn't help asking, "Is it okay?" Fortunately, he was just exhausted, overworked, and had too many troubles. "The woman's name is Xia, the only daughter of one of our major clients. Her father took a fancy to me and wanted me to be his son-in-law and take over the group's business." Yang Chen raised his right hand, "But I swear, you are the only one in my heart. I just don't want to lose this big client, so as not to make things worse. I promise you, as long as you handle this crisis well, I will definitely regret the engagement and be with you. If you care so much, I will go and tell her father now. Anyway, she doesn't like me, and I don't like her either. You don't know, she is too willful and completely spoiled." Ji Qingwan remembered Xia directly splashing coffee on Yang Chen's face, and couldn't help but believe it 7 points. But she didn't believe it completely. Because they had met once before. After returning to China, Yang Chen didn't mention the matter of his fiancée, and said that he wanted to start his own business instead of handling the family business. Ji Qingwan hesitated. "When did you get engaged to her?" "Just last week." "It was actually a fake engagement." "Then why did she agree to get engaged to you?" "Because her father has been looking for a partner for her, and she is annoyed. She thought she could delay it as long as possible." Ji Qingwan believed it 2 points more. The time and logic make sense. But she still feels a little unhappy. She has broken up with Gu Bei for Yang Chen. Now Yang Chen has a fiancé. But as long as Yang Chen breaks up, it's not impossible. It just so happens that both of them break up. Seeing Ji Qingwan's attitude soften, Yang Chen immediately said, 3 months. At the latest, I will break up with her in 3 months. Then you are not allowed to touch her." A hint of speechlessness flashed across Yang Chen's eyes. He knew that Ji Qingwan was with Gu Bei when he was in college. He absolutely didn't believe that she had remained innocent for so many years. But Ji Qingwan was indeed well taken care of by Gu Bei and became more and more beautiful. Yang Chen raised his hand again and swore, "Don't worry, I will never touch her. I don't like her at all. The princess has a bad temper." Ji Qingwan nodded. "Then go and deal with the company's affairs, and solve them as soon as possible. I'll stay with you for a while. I miss you every day after not seeing you for so many years." Ji Qingwan's pretty face turned red. Yang Chen stepped up his attack. "Qingwan, I'm telling the truth. Do you know why I went abroad?" "Why?" "Because you were with Gu Bei at the time, I felt like I was going crazy, so I had to go abroad to relax. Ji Qingwan didn't expect Yang Chen to go abroad for her. Her heart was touched. Yang Chen took the opportunity to grab Ji Qingwan's hand. Qingwan, it's so great to see you again. It's the blessing I earned in my previous life. Ji Qingwan turned her head slightly to avoid Yang Chen's burning eyes. You touched my foot. Sorry. Yang Chen sat back on the sofa. The bandage was too much of a hindrance. Qingwan, did the doctor say how long it will take to recover? When can I remove the bandage? About a week. By the way, are you still practicing dancing? Yes. Ji Qingwan pointed to the second bedroom. That's my dance room. Can I take a look? Sure. Yang Chen stood at the door and looked at the dance room, praising it. But his eyes fell on Ji Qingwan's beautiful figure beside him. Gu Bei eats really well, but now it's his. Chapter 8. No chance to get on the table. Just when Yang Chen was about to deepen his relationship with Ji Qingwan, the phone in his trouser pocket began to vibrate. A ringtone interrupted their conversation. Yang Chen saw the caller, his expression tightened, and he walked aside. I'll take a call. The moment Yang Chen turned his back to Ji Qingwan, a flattering smile appeared on his face, and his back was not as straight as before. Hello, Chairman. Yes, I'm visiting clients outside. Okay, I'll be back soon. It's okay, goodbye, Chairman. Yang Chen waited for the other party to hang up before putting away his phone. Sorry, Qingwan, I have something to go back first. It's okay. Just do what you want. I'll come to see you another day. If you have anything, just call me. I'll come no matter how busy I am. Well, go ahead. Ji Qingwan stood by the window and watched Yang Chen get on a BMW and leave. Just now she heard Yang Chen call, Chairman. The attitude was arrogant at first and then respectful. The other party was very likely Xue Bingxia's father. Otherwise, Yang Chen would not have been called away with just one phone call. But what puzzled her was that Yang Chen didn't seem to be helping his father handle business. It was more like working for someone else. Ji Qingwan sat on the sofa and pondered. If Yang Chen worked for Xue Bingxia's father, he would have to do things according to other people's moods. People have to bow their heads under the eaves. No wonder Yang Chen was not angry when Xue Bingxia splashed coffee on him. Maybe he was very humiliated, so he didn't tell me the truth. Ji Qingwan subconsciously filled in a lot of details in her mind, looking for reasons for Yang Chen's previous lies. She guessed the truth. Just didn't see Yang Chen's true love. She didn't seriously think about why Yang Chen agreed to get engaged to Xue Bingxia. She didn't think about verifying the truth of the matter. It's like a girl who falls in love and has a lower IQ. After receiving Xue Fuxing's call, Yang Chen rushed back immediately. That was not a moment's delay, his feet were about to step into the gas tank. In fact, Yang Chen has been working at Fuxing Group for more than a week. The time of engagement with Xue Bingxia was not last week. He lied to Ji Qingwan. To be precise, it was 70% true and 30% false. Yang Chen's family is indeed going bankrupt. Currently needs a large amount of funds, or someone to help guarantee. If he could become the consort of Fuxing Group, it would not only save the family business. It would completely realize the class transition of the entire Yang family. But he is still in the assessment stage, and it is still unclear whether he can marry Xue Bingxia. Yang Chen does not like the high-ranking Xue Bingxia. But he is willing to do so, and he dreams of marrying Xue Bingxia. It is not like what he said to Ji Qingwan that he hates and rejects her, and he will not take the initiative to regret the marriage. Unless his brain is broken, he will marry Xue Bingxia no matter how much it costs. Fuxing Group has a market value of hundreds of billions, and its net profit last year was as high as tens of billions. Xue Fuxing has only one daughter, Xue Bingxia. As long as he marries Xue Bingxia, his wealth will soar by tens of billions. However, Xue Bingxia is not interested in him. Xue Fuxing already knew about the appointment with Ji Qingwan. Yang Chen was still very nervous at first, but now he is not so worried. Because Xue Fuxing didn't care that much, and thought it wasn't a problem for a capable man to have one or two more women. Like but not capable, that's the biggest problem. Yang Chen was a smart man, and he immediately understood that Xue Fuxing was not looking for a husband to stay at home for Xue Bingxia. Instead, he wanted to find a capable successor who could take on important responsibilities. After confirming this, Yang Chen was so happy that he wanted to jump up. The one who is close to the water gets the moon first. Now he is the one with the best chance. Originally, he just coveted Ji Qingwan's beauty and had no intention of getting married. By the way, let Gu Bei feel uncomfortable. When he was in college, Gu Bei stole a lot of his limelight. Yang Chen originally wanted to invite Ji Qingwan to their hotel the night before Ji Qingwan and Gu Bei got married. By the way, record a video, cuckold Gu Bei, and show off to his friends. But now Ji Qingwan has become his bait. If Xue Fuxing is very angry about this, he will not continue to contact Ji Qingwan. One was a former campus beauty, and the other was the successor of a listed group company with a market value of 100 billion yuan. Even a fool would know how to choose. He had played with many women, and he had played with more in the past 2 years abroad. Overseas students are quite open-minded, and many of them change their girlfriends. He has also changed several times. Girlfriend and wife are completely different things. The reason why Yang Chen came to Ji Qingwan again was very simple. First, Xue Fuxing did not blame him, and second, Ji Qingwan was beautiful enough to make Gu Bei wear a green hat. The most important point was to attract Xue Bingxi's attention. In the past, Xue Bingxi had always ignored him and was as cold as an iceberg. The look in his eyes was full of contempt and disdain, and he did not hide the disgust in his eyes at all. But Xue Bingxi took the initiative to find him several times in the past 2 days. Just based on this point, Yang Chen would not break off contact with Ji Qingwan. After careful consideration, Yang Chen decided that if he wanted to break the ice, there must be an opportunity. And a proud woman like Xue Bingxi would only be looked down upon if she was humble. Yang Chen changed his attitude. He came to Ji Qingwan and expressed his attitude to Xue Bingxi. Yang Chen knew very well that the person he wanted to please was not Xue Bingxi. It was Xue Fuxing, the chairman of the group. If he could conquer Xue Bingxi, the flower of the mountain, it would be great. Yang Chen had his own plans. The most important thing at the moment was not to buy flowers and apologize to Xue Bingxi. It was to prove his ability in the group and interact more with Xue Bingxi. It didn't matter even if Xue Bingxi complained to Xue Fuxing. The most feared thing was that he had no sense of existence. If so, Xue Fuxing would soon eliminate him. There were more than 1 or 2 people who wanted to become the son-in-law of the Xue family. Yang Chen would try every means to marry Xue Bingxi. It didn't matter if the marriage was not happy. He also had to thank Xue Bingxi for not being interested in inheriting the family business. Otherwise, he would have no chance. But Yang Chen was quite surprised that Xue Fuxing would choose him. Compared with a behemoth like Fuxing Group, his family is nothing. Any subsidiary of Fuxing Group is not comparable to his family. Yang Chen attributed it to himself that he was the son of destiny. He is handsome, capable, and knows how to deal with people. It is natural that he should be the one. Yang Chen hurried back to the headquarters, but unexpectedly saw a familiar figure. He followed him subconsciously, and was stunned when he saw his face. Yang Chen called the chairman's assistant in the general manager's office. Sister Wan, who was that person who just came in? Mr. Gu from Polaris Group. Does he have any cooperation with our company? He came to discuss business. Do you know him? I have met him once, but I am not very familiar with him. What a pity. Yang Chen was stunned. What do you mean? The group attaches great importance to their company's investment and operation management system. Aren't you responsible for overseas projects? You may use it later. Yang Chen hesitated. With our strength, shouldn't they rush us to use their system? Ron Hui smiled and said nothing. If Xue Fuxing didn't value Yang Chen, she wouldn't have said so much. But Yang Chen hadn't been here for long. She would definitely not talk nonsense about some internal secrets of Fuxing. Otherwise, she, the director of the general manager's office, should be replaced. Ron Hui didn't say anything more and asked the assistant to bring in tea. Yang Chen stood there, his face uncertain. He knew a little about Gu Bei's situation, but not much. But he didn't expect Gu Bei to sit down with Xue Fuxing to discuss business. But he didn't even have the chance to sit at the table. Chapter 9 Missed Love is Priceless. Yang Chen quickly dealt with the matter at hand, and then stared at the chairman's office. He just pondered Ron Hui's words. Xue Fuxing is interested in cooperating with Polaris Group. If he can help promote the cooperation, it will undoubtedly be a good opportunity to prove himself. But his relationship with Gu Bei is not good, and there are some contradictions. Originally, he wanted to cuckold Gu Bei. Even if Gu Bei broke up with Ji Qingwan, he actually won. After all, Ji Qingwan broke up with Gu Bei for him. Yang Chen hesitated whether to lower himself to find Gu Bei and take all the credit on himself. But he was worried that he would lose more than he gained. If Gu Bei refused to cooperate because of him, it would have the opposite effect. Yang Chen didn't think Gu Bei would like him. Then how could he get Gu Bei to cooperate actively? Yang Chen frowned. He urgently needs to show off in front of Xue Fuxing. After all, it is not something worth showing off when he has a fiancée and still finds women outside. It would be embarrassing for the Xue family to tell others about it. Yang Chen knows that he is not yet the son-in-law of the Xue family. The engagement ceremony is actually a meal between the two families. Xue Bingxie even left directly that day, which made the scene very awkward. Thinking of the humiliation he suffered on the day of the engagement, Yang Chen felt that it was not unacceptable to find Gu Bei for a temporary reconciliation. Winning Xue Fuxing's approval is the most important thing, and everything else should be ranked behind. Yang Chen carefully checked Gu Bei's Polaris group. You don't know until you check it out, and you will be shocked when you check it out. It is actually called Little BlackRock. BlackRock is headquartered in America and is the world's most powerful asset management company. Yang Chen finally understood what Wan Hui was talking about. The operation management system is actually not important at all. What is important is the investment strategy and asset management system of Polaris Group. Fuxing is already a company close to the ceiling level in China. In recent years, the focus has been on global layout and industrial layout. Strive to achieve a truly independent Fuxing ecosystem. However, in these years, when conducting globalization and laying out potential industries, we have taken many detours and stepped on many pitfalls. The tuition fee paid is an astronomical figure, in the hundreds of millions. The price paid is too high, and Fuxing also understands one thing. It is not possible to directly copy the domestic success. Fuxing's ability to resist operational and investment risks is much worse than expected. It is not impossible to find a top asset management company, but the fees are too high and it is not very convenient. There are great restrictions on fund transfer alone. Yang Chen is a smart man and quickly figured out the strategic direction of the group. When he figured it out, he was shocked by Gu Bei's strength. Is Gu Bei capable of helping Fuxing Group complete its global layout? Yang Chen had heard Ji Qingwan talk about Gu Bei before. Isn't it just a small company that does well and earns millions a year? If he really has that ability, how could he only earn a few million a year? The commission and the cut alone far exceed this number. So either Gu Bei is just bragging, and the publicity is great, but in fact he is just half-baked. Or Ji Qingwan doesn't know how big Gu Bei's company is. Yang Chen hopes it's the first one. That way he can expose Gu Bei's true face and prevent Fuxing Group from jumping into the fire pit. It can suppress Gu Bei and gain appreciation. But after careful consideration, he is more inclined to the second one. When Ji Qingwan talked about Gu Bei's company, he was very vague. Now think about it, it's not that Ji Qingwan wants to skip the topic of Gu Bei, but he doesn't know what Gu Bei is doing and how big his business is. Ji Qingwan has been studying for a master's degree and stays in school all day, so it's normal for him not to know. Yang Chen also found rumors that Gu Bei's subsidiary plans to go public recently. If it's true, then we have to re-evaluate Gu Bei's strength. Yang Chen suspects that Ji Qingwan doesn't know this news yet. Otherwise, wouldn't he have missed the opportunity to have at least tens of billions of assets? Yang Chen didn't think his charm could win tens of billions. A few million is possible. Yang Chen thought about it and decided to give it a try. In his eyes, money, fame, and power are the most important. As long as you get one of the three, you don't have to worry about beautiful women. Yang Chen sent a message to Ji Qingwan. I heard that Gu Bei's company is going to go public, is it true? Ji Qingwan, who was recuperating at home, was stunned when she saw the news. Go public. Ji Qingwan had no idea about this. She knew what it meant for a company to go public. But the word, go public, basically never appeared in her life. It was very far away. She had never thought that Gu Bei's company could go public. Usually, she didn't pay attention to Gu Bei's company's business. The main focus was daily companionship. Eating, shopping, traveling, playing doo-doo. Ji Qingwan realized that she didn't know Gu Bei well enough. Or maybe she didn't care enough. But Gu Bei didn't even tell her about the company's listing. Ji Qingwan felt a little dissatisfied. He agreed to break up so straightforwardly, because he was afraid that she would take away the shares. Ji Qingwan still remembered that Gu Bei once said that everything he had belonged to her. It didn't seem to be the case now. Ji Qingwan wanted to confirm whether it was true, but found that she had forgotten the name of Gu Bei's company. She remembered that Gu Bei had several companies. She didn't know which company was going to be listed. So she started to look through the chat records and searched for the keyword, company. A long row of chat messages with the word, company, popped up. 1. I will come to you after I finish my company's work. I ordered pizza for you, remember to take it. A big customer is coming to the company today, I will pack delicious food for you later. 1 Bao, I'm going to the company, breakfast is on the table, get up early and eat. Ji Qingwan looked at the chat records on the phone screen and fell into silence. It was full of Gu Bei's love for her. The words were full of doting. The dissatisfaction in Ji Qingwan's heart disappeared, replaced by guilt. She shouldn't doubt Gu Bei's love. Since they were together, Gu Bei's love for her has only increased. No matter how busy the company is, he will take time to accompany her. But she doesn't care much about Gu Bei's company. Ji Qingwan didn't reply to Yang Chen. She didn't know the answer. Ji Qingwan, who was lost in memories, kept scrolling down and looking through their past chat records. Every day. Even if she was angry, Gu Bei would not go into a cold war. The more she scrolled up, the more difficult it was for Ji Qingwan to calm down. It took more than 3 hours to read. She didn't notice the passage of time. Even if she looked through it all night, she couldn't finish it. If you count carefully, it has been almost 10 years since she and Gu Bei met and fell in love. How many decades are there in life? How many decades are there in youth? The answer is 1. She spent the best time of her youth with Gu Bei. Ji Qingwan always felt that she was still young. She usually stayed in school, just like an ordinary college student. She realized that these were all provided by Gu Bei. But Gu Bei was not. She went to internship early in her senior year, working 2 jobs alone, and including half-day tutoring on weekends. It was equivalent to 3 jobs. She was able to stay in the ivory tower of the university because of Gu Bei's careful protection. Ji Qingwan felt that she was a little willful. Perhaps it was because she was fearless because of being favored. She had always been accustomed to Gu Bei's meticulous love. But after they broke up, she realized what she had lost. Will Yang Chen care about her as meticulously as Gu Bei? Without thinking, Ji Qingwan also had the answer in her heart. No. There may never be someone as good to her as Gu Bei in this life. Ji Qingwan, who was lost in memories, realized that she had not only missed the opportunity to become the wife of the chairman of a listed company. There was also the person whose eyes were full of her. One was priceless, and the other was priceless. She missed them all. Ji Qingwan hugged her knees, tears welling up in her eyes. After taking this step, is there still a chance to turn back? Ji Qingwan became at a loss. She mustered up her courage and made up her mind to break up with Gu Bei. It seemed to be the most wrong decision in her life. Chapter 10, Living on Campus Helplessly and Starting a New Life. After learning that Gu Bei's company was about to go public, Ji Qingwan fell into hesitation. She spent the whole night looking through the chat records, recalling how good Gu Bei had been to her. But she still didn't go to find Gu Bei. At present, Yang Chen treated her very well and promised to break up in 3 months. However, considering that Yang Chen didn't tell the truth last time, she decided to investigate again. If he lied to her, she would decisively turn back. She had been with Gu Bei for so many years, and she still couldn't forget Yang Chen. No matter what, she had to try and follow her heart. Even if she might be sad. But Ji Qingwan believed that if she turned back, Gu Bei would still wait for her as always. These days, Gu Bei was angry and blocked her just because she returned the engagement ring. Ji Qingwan could understand. But the days passed. Ji Qingwan felt bored staying at home with nothing to do. Gu Bei didn't take her to a good and fun high-end restaurant. She couldn't go on a trip either. She had agreed to travel abroad once before school started. But now it's gone, and she can't go anywhere. Yang Chen was not as enthusiastic as before, and always said he was busy. either in the company or with clients. During this period, he broke his promise to her twice. Ji Qingwan could clearly feel the difference between Yang Chen and Gu Bei in treating her. The latter would send her messages to care about her no matter how busy he was, and compensate her afterwards. But Yang Chen would only chat a few more words when he was free, and his words were quite pleasant. But when she saw him again afterwards, she always felt that Yang Chen didn't care about her. Ji Qingwan asked herself to be more considerate of Yang Chen. After all, the latter did have a lot of things to do, and his father was sick and hospitalized. All the burdens were on Yang Chen's shoulders alone. And he had to deal with that unpleasant fiancé. Ji Qingwan had tried her best to find excuses for Yang Chen. But it was still hard to convince herself. People who love you will take time to reply to messages no matter how busy they are. No matter how busy a person is, he will not have no time to reply to a message. It can only be said that he didn't care that much. There is no harm without comparison. Ji Qingwan could intuitively feel the difference in comparison. There was another thing that bothered her. And it was an imminent problem that needed to be dealt with urgently. That was the rent. Ji Qingwan didn't know whether Gu Bei knew that her rent was due. But she knew that Gu Bei definitely didn't help her pay the rent, and she had to move out before the end of the month. The landlord not only called, but also came to her door. Ji Qingwan thought for a long time and decided to give up this house and move to the school dormitory. She wouldn't sell her clothes, bags, etc. for the time being. Ji Qingwan felt that it was embarrassing to sell second-hand items. If she ran into someone she knew, they might spread rumors. She still had some money on her, so if she couldn't afford it, she could sell 1 or 2 bags on an online second-hand platform. She had been very frugal recently, but her balance had already reached 4 figures. She had to wait until the next month to get her salary, so it was only a matter of time before she sold her bags. While packing her luggage, Ji Qingwan contacted the school. The good news was that counselors could live on campus, and each had a room. The room was a little small, but at least she didn't have to share a room with others. School was about to start. Ji Qingwan didn't want to bother with the annoying landlord, so she found a moving company. Yang Chen, who had agreed to help, was on a business trip, so she had to find someone to move at her own expense. At this time, Ji Qingwan couldn't help but think of Gu Bei. In the past, she didn't have to worry about these things at all. Gu Bei would arrange everything properly, and she just had to sit in the passenger seat and drink milk tea. Zhonghai University has 3 campuses. Her campus is relatively new and closer to the city. It is not as remote as the other 2 campuses, and it takes a lot of transfers to get to the city center. But compared to the house she lived in before, it is still much smaller and the furniture is poor. Ji Qingwan sighed. She sold her original leather sofa, walnut dining table and other furniture to the moving company at a discount. Her wallet was slightly fuller. The school dormitory was not big and could not accommodate those furniture. The sale was just enough for her living expenses for the next month. But the things she packed were already filling up the small room. Ji Qingwan started to tidy up the room and clean up. But she was exhausted after a while. She wanted to ask the housekeeping company to send a cleaning lady to clean up. And then hire a storage organizer to help tidy up the room. That way she would not have to do anything and could just wait. However, given her limited money, she gave up the idea. The 2 together would cost at least 1,000 yuan. Ji Qingwan sat on a chair to rest, feeling a little irritated. In the past, the restaurant that Gu Bei took her to cost several thousand yuan for a meal. But now she has to be stingy even for 1,000 yuan. After resting for half an hour, Ji Qingwan continued to clean up the room. She wanted to prove that she could live well without Gu Bei. But she never thought that just moving would take up all her energy. From morning to sunset, she barely managed to clean up the room. Ji Qingwan was so tired that she didn't even bother to eat. She realized that it was so tiring to rely on herself for everything. It was close to the start of school. Ji Qingwan attended 2 meetings and understood her responsibilities. It was said to be 9 responsibilities, but in fact it was just dormitory management and class teacher. A counselor named Yang Siyuan had a good impression of her. He passed on his experience to her. Ji Qingwan originally thought that being a counselor was very easy and basically didn't have to do anything. When she was studying, she had little interaction with counselors. But Yang Siyuan said that counselors have a lot of things to do. The visible and invisible things are all done by counselors. Communication between the school and students is only the most basic. There are also various statistical information to be completed, and there are also awards, scholarships, lay phone activities, recommendation for party membership, conscription, etc. Hearing this, her head was big. She left after a few perfunctory words. Yang Siyuan is not ugly, but compared with Gu Bei and Yang Chen. Anyway, there is no comparison. And Yang Siyuan seems to have an ordinary family background, nothing special, and a bit of a chatterbox. Since she was a child, Ji Qingwan has had countless suitors. Yang Siyuan is just one of her many suitors, so she naturally doesn't take it to heart. However, Yang Siyuan has been a counselor for 2 years, so he is experienced and somewhat useful. He can help with some things in the future, such as statistical information and making tables. Ji Qingwan was a little cold to Yang Siyuan, but she didn't hate him. This made the latter very happy. However, Yang Siyuan didn't know that he was just a tool in Ji Qingwan's eyes. At the end of the month, the old students started school. The new students started 2 days later. Ji Qingwan finally ushered in a new life. If she had something to do, she wouldn't always think of Gu Bei. Ji Qingwan had already obtained the specific information of the students a few days ago. Yang Siyuan helped her to complete the student information ledger. Age, household registration, place of origin, family poverty, etc. The old students were responsible for welcoming the new students, and the first thing she had to do was to hold a good class meeting. The first class meeting was the first formal meeting for the new students after they entered the school. Ji Qingwan had already anticipated that she would be their most beautiful counselor of Zhonghai University. Today, when the class meeting was held, Ji Qingwan deliberately put on light makeup and wore a beautiful skirt. On their way to the classroom, the eyes of the people around her were focused on her. There were also 2 boys who wanted her contact information, but she refused. Ji Qingwan walked into the classroom with an elegant pace. Sure enough, a low cry sounded. Ji Qingwan smiled slightly, full of charm. But her eyes involuntarily turned to a girl by the window. She was so plain, without makeup, and her clothes were also ordinary, a little rustic. But it couldn't hide the girl's stunning appearance at all. She was like a green lotus in a pond, standing tall and graceful, with a refined and unworldly temperament. Ji Qingwan seemed to see herself when she was a freshman. She was even better than herself. Chapter 11, There is nothing I like, but there is someone I like very much. Time never defeats beauty. This sentence is a compliment to women. She was beautiful when she was young, and even when she was old, she still had charm and was still beautiful. But the reality is not so. The collagen on your face can't deceive people, even if you get an injection. Ji Qingwan has never had any beauty injections and relies entirely on maintenance. All the skin care products used are high-end ones bought by Gu Bei. She has always taken good care of herself, and no one would disbelieve if she said she was a college student. But no matter how well you take care of yourself, you will still have anxiety about your appearance and age. This was also a factor in Ji Qingwan's breakup with Gu Bei. She is still young and beautiful now, and she will be 30 in 2 years. It's a bit too late to pursue love by then. Ji Qingwan couldn't help but compare himself with the girl sitting by the window. In terms of dressing and beauty, she wins. But she lost because of her youth. If the latter dresses up a little, her charm will probably rise to more than one level. A flame of jealousy quietly grew in Ji Qingwan's heart. Gu Bei can buy her the best skin care products and cosmetics. But you can't buy time. Every year there are young and beautiful 18-year-old female college students. Will Gu Bei and Yang Chen always like me, or will they also like younger girls? Ji Qingwan had no answer in his mind. After collecting his thoughts, Ji Qingwan smiled and said, "Hello, students. I am your counselor, Ji Qingwan." Then Ji Qingwan wrote his name and cell phone number on the blackboard. "You can write down my phone number and contact me if you need anything." "Counselor, do you have a boyfriend?" a tall boy suddenly asked. Immediately, several boys followed suit. Ji Qingwan smiled and shook his head, "No." The booing suddenly became louder. Ji Qingwan pressed down with both hands, "I don't have a boyfriend, but I have a fiancé." "Ah." Everyone was surprised, and the boy who asked the question lost interest and turned to look at the girl by the window, who was as beautiful as a solitary orchid in a valley. Ji Qingwan found it funny. It was easy to control a group of freshmen. Okay, let's introduce ourselves, in the form of a train. This student, you go first. The girl near the door stood up, pushed her glasses, lowered her head, and spoke weakly. My name is He Lily, and I'm from Yuncheng. As soon as she finished speaking, He Lily sat down. Ji Qingwan didn't even hear it clearly. Did everyone hear this student's self-introduction? No. I can't hear you. Ji Qingwan made a gesture of invitation. Classmate, can we do it again? Speak louder and say more, such as your interests and hobbies, and what you expect from college. He Lily's face flushed and she stood up nervously and shyly. My name is He Lily, I'm from Yuncheng, and I like reading. This time their voice was a little louder, so Ji Qingwan didn't say anything more and let the next student continue. Very few people can introduce themselves confidently and generously. Most of them are shy, but a few boys are funny and good at making memes. What gender is male? I like females. My dad drives a Bentley, my mom drives a Ferrari, and I drive, just kidding. I can recite the multiplication table and know to run to the dormitory when it rains. Ji Qingwan couldn't help but think of his first class meeting in his freshman year. Most people are shy, and after a class meeting, only one person's name can be remembered. Gu Bei. Because Gu Bei is the most handsome boy. There are usually two people in the class who are easiest to remember. A boy and a girl. The boy is Gu Bei and the girl is her. It is often the focus of discussion during night chats in the dormitory. Ji Qingwan vaguely remembered Gu Bei's self-introduction at that time. He speaks clearly, calmly and confidently, giving people a feeling of sunshine and perseverance. The boy who had just asked the question stood up, and his bright voice interrupted Ji Qingwan's memories. Hello everyone, my name is Hu Buqiao. Unlike others, Hu Buqiao was not shy at all when introducing himself. He even turned half a circle so that everyone could see his face clearly, without avoiding anyone's eyes. Hu Buqiao said openly, I am from Wencheng. I like playing basketball. I was a main player on the school team for 2.5 years. I only quit in the second half of my senior year. I like making friends, and everyone is welcome to come and play with me. You can also go to Wencheng to play during the holidays. I will cover the food and accommodation. Woo! Awesome! Many boys applauded loudly. In addition to Hu Buqiao's roommates, many boys and girls also have a good impression of Hu Buqiao. People who are open and generous always gain the favor of others more easily. Hu Buqiao made everyone remember his name. However, when he sat down, he found that the girl who made his heartbeat did not turn her head, but still sat quietly, not knowing what she was thinking. Ji Qingwan also clapped his hands a few times, thinking about letting Hu Buqiao be the class leader, or at least the deputy class leader. After a few more mediocre self-introductions, everyone in the class's attention fell on one person. The girl stood up and said, My name is Sunanqing. I don't have anything I particularly like, but I have someone I particularly like. Her voice is clear and pleasant, like a spring. Everyone was stunned. Is this a confession? No. Because Sunanqing had already sat down, there was no follow-up. That's the announcement. Who is that person? It sounds like Sunanqing is not with that person yet. No boy would reject Sunanqing, right? Ji Qingwan was also a little surprised. This self-introduction is quite special. It can indeed prevent some boys from harassing her, just like she just said that she has a fiancé. Ji Qingwan clapped his hands twice. Students at the back, please introduce yourselves. Hi everyone, my name is. No one cares anymore what the remaining students' names are or where they come from. Everyone was curious about whether the person Sunanqing particularly liked was in the class. Is it a boy or a girl, and what is her name? Ji Qingwan announced the election of temporary class leaders. Sunanqing sat quietly in her seat, with no intention of going on stage. She is not interested in being a class leader, nor in anyone else. I am not going to Peking University or Tsinghua University. I came to Zhonghai University just for one person. The man's name was Gu Bei. Chapter 12, Companionship is the most lasting confession. After the class meeting, Sunanqing did not go back to the dormitory with her roommates, but walked around the school. The campus is not very large, only about 500 acres. Sunanqing took photos as she walked, recording every place on campus. Stadium, teaching building, canteen, activity center, library, administrative building. She had seen the school's floor plan in advance and knew exactly what buildings were there. Taking photos is not for commemoration or novelty. It's about sharing. Share it with the two most important people in her life. Sunanqing's cell phone is a bit old, and there are cracks on the corners of the screen. It wasn't something she broke accidentally, but it was a second-hand product. Because of the cracks, the price is much cheaper. Sunanqing first sent the photos to her mother and then made a video call. The call was connected quickly. A wrinkled face appeared on the screen, but it was kind and friendly. Mom. Sunanqing smiled and said, "Let me show you my school. Is it good? Okay. You have to take good care of the people in the dormitory and eat well, okay? No. Do you need to buy books for the new semester? Your brother Gu sent me some money, I'll transfer some to you. No, Mom, the textbook fees are all free. Do you have money for dinner? Yes. Didn't I make over 4,000 yuan during the summer vacation? That's enough for this semester. I will apply for financial aid and scholarships. Hey, Mom is useless. Fortunately, you are doing your best. Mom, don't say that. Aren't we fine now? Sunanqing's eyes were a little moist, but she still comforted her mother. When you have the ability in the future, you must repay your benefactor. This is the principle of life. I will. Mom, you're home alone, so take care of yourself. Is dinner cooked? It's cooking. Go and eat. Eat your fill. Well, I'm hanging up then. Sunanqing hung up the phone and his expression became resolute. After entering university, she was able to work part-time. Scholarships are available normally. The national scholarship needs to be fought for, and she also wants to get it. This way, the mother can use better medicine to slow down the rate of paralysis and control the condition. And to repay the benefactor of their family. Sunanqing wanted to repay Gu Bei before graduating from university. After graduation, she will also sponsor truly needy students. After a busy day, Gu Bei just finished the work at hand when he realized that it was already dark. If you focus on your work, you won't think about useless things, such as decadent relationships. After tidying up his desk, Gu Bei stood up and prepared to leave. It turned out that there was still one person who had not left. Lena, why haven't you left yet? Tiancheng needs a lot of listing information. I'll sort it out. Just ask the heads of each department to sort it out for you. Some have, some don't. It's a bit troublesome. I'll do it myself and feel more at ease. I'll also be communicating with Wanglu. Thank you for your hard work. Have you eaten? I've been waiting for you to say this, boss. Should overtime dinner be reimbursed? Let's go. Let's eat anything you want. We'll make it tomorrow. Really? I'm welcome then. Why are you being so polite to me? Zhenlina clicked, save, and shut down the computer. The two left side by side. Boss, is there anything bothering you lately? You figured it out. That's right. Nothing in the company can be hidden from your eyes. Is this a compliment or an insult to me? I praise you. Take my car. You got quite a lot of dividends last year. Why don't you buy a car? If you buy a car, you can't just borrow a Maybach. Gu Bei smiled and shook his head. I think you have too much work, so you deliberately let me be your driver. How dare I? How about I drive it? Do you have a driver's license? Yes, I changed it every 6 years. When was the last time you touched a steering wheel? When I was learning to drive. I'll drive it. Zhenlina covered her mouth and chuckled. She was actually not a road killer. Sitting in the co-pilot seat, she could look after Gu Bei openly. Gu Bei started the car and asked, "What do you want to eat?" I want to eat noodles. This saves me money. If you eat too much at night, you will get fat. It's okay to eat more occasionally. I just want to eat something soupy. Okay. Let's go eat the old noodle soup. Gu Bei drove Zhenlina to a small noodle restaurant not far from the company. Zhenlina walked into the noodle shop and said to the proprietress, "Same old." Okay, it will be ready in a moment. Gu Bei was a little surprised. We haven't been here for a while, right? Does the boss lady still remember what we want to eat? How could I not remember? We used to come here every now and then to eat the old noodle soup. Would you like a poached egg? Okay, do you want a big one? One. Jeanliner called out again, Madam Boss, one with a poached egg, one with a poached egg and pork chops. You don't want it? I can't eat that much, just give me some. Gu Bei nodded and looked around the store. We have finally come to this point after all the hardship we have endured. We can now add eggs and pork chops. Jeanliner couldn't help laughing. When the company goes public, I will also increase my stake. Why, did you just add a large rib just to save me money? That's right. Jeanliner smiled brightly. Gu Bei couldn't help but laugh. After the noodles came, Gu Bei used the chopsticks he had never used before to pick up half of the pork chop and put it into Jeanliner's bowl. Half for each. Boss, you are so nice. Following you, I can eat meat while others can only drink soup. You can increase the number of seats, but you can't increase the salary. Jeanliner giggled. Gu Bei's mood also improved a lot. You don't have to eat at a fine restaurant to feel happy. The key is who you eat with. A bowl of authentic old-style noodle soup costs less than 30 yuan, which is very cheap in Zhonghai where every inch of land is valuable. Compared with the UV restaurant which costs several thousand per person, it can be said to be shabby. But both Gu Bei and Jeanliner ate with gusto. Gu Bei ate quickly and went to pay the bill first. Lena. Jeanliner held her hair with her left hand and raised her chin slightly. You've been my assistant for many years. Do you want to change your position? Jeanliner paused. Did I do something wrong? No. You did a great job. With you here, I saved a lot of trouble. Then why do you want me to transfer? You are much more than a secretary. Jeanliner's expression became relaxed, but I don't want to change my job. Then don't turn. Without you, I can't get used to someone else. Jeanliner's heart was touched and she opened her mouth. There were some things she had wanted to say for a long time. But when the words came to his lips, he changed his mouth and said, Will I be the only one left in the general manager's office in the future? Boss, you want to exploit me as much as possible. No way. You are the director of the general manager's office, you have the final say. Real. Well, if you like, you can take over part of the business. Jeanliner was stunned. Boss, what's wrong with you? Nothing. I just feel that doing everything myself is tiring. It's time to take it easy. With such a good assistant like you, why not? Gu Bei was clearly smiling, but Jeanliner saw deep fatigue in his eyes, which made her heart ache. Jeanliner knows better than anyone how hard Gu Bei works. Especially in the early stages of starting a business, you really have to work hard. Even though the company grew bigger, Gu Bei never slacked off and remained as serious and dedicated as ever. Jeanliner said seriously, As long as you don't chase me away, I will always be with you. Chapter 13 Returning the Diamond Ring, Ending Love. I will always be with you. Gu Bei was stunned when he saw the serious Jeanliner. Ji Qingwan also said this to him. But Ji Qingwan finally broke up and went to find Bei Guan. Gu Bei couldn't help feeling a little sad. Those who once promised to grow old together and walk the world together could not escape the fate of parting ways. And he said it so easily, as if breaking up was the most common thing. The love we once had is so insignificant. Come on, I'll take you back. Jeanliner clearly felt that Gu Bei was becoming depressed. There is a kind of sadness that is hard to describe. Jeanliner knew what a strong man Gu Bei was. There is only one person who can make Gu Bei like this. The woman she envied so much. On their way back, Jeanliner couldn't help but ask, Is Qingwan in a bad mood again? Gu Bei shook his head. It's more than just a temper tantrum. In the past, Ji Qingwan often had a bad temper, but he would be fine after a little coaxing. But this time Ji Qingwan didn't make a fuss and just returned the engagement ring to him. What an engagement ring means is self-evident. This is for more serious than getting angry and saying you want to break up. Gu Bei sighed. When Jeanliner saw this, she knew it was related to Ji Qingwan. Although she couldn't sincerely bless them. But she hopes Gu Bei lives a good life and is happier. Gu Bei is already exhausted from the burden of the company. If your love life is not going well, it will be even more tiring. Jeanliner suggested, How about I go pick out a gift tomorrow? She should calm down soon. No. You're getting married soon, so it's better to reconcile as soon as possible. Gu Bei said softly, I broke up with her. It's not the first or second time that she has been clamming to break up. It will be fine once she calms down. After Janlina finished speaking, her pupils suddenly trembled. Really? This was the first time Janlina heard the word break up from Gu Bei. In the past, it was Ji Qingwan who insisted on breaking up. But Gu Bei always tried every way to coax Ji Qingwan, but he never said break up, not even once. Janlina knew how much Gu Bei loved Ji Qingwan. This breakup doesn't seem to be a one-sided quarrel. Janlina opened her mouth slightly, unable to digest the news for a moment. Then I felt a little angry. She envied Ji Qingwan so much. But Ji Qingwan never appreciates Gu Bei's kindness. Once, twice, over and over again. I don't know how many times this has happened over the years. Janlina finally understood why Gu Bei had been in such a bad state these past 2 days. She really wanted to comfort Gu Bei, but she knew that it was useless to say anything and Gu Bei had to rely on himself to get over it. As long as you get out of the quagmire of emotions, you will definitely feel much more relaxed. Now all she can do is accompany him silently. Just like before, never leave or abandon. After sending Janlina to the gate of the community where she lived, Gu Bei forced a smile. Don't worry about me. Go to bed early tonight and see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Janlina got out of the car and suddenly shouted, Boss. It's okay, drive slowly on the road, and send me a message when you get home. Gu Bei smiled and nodded. He knew that Janlina was worried that he would be unable to get over it. But he won't do that. Even without love, people still have to live. A person must live well. Don't be troubled by your heart, don't be confused by your emotions, don't think about the past, and don't fear the future. Gu Bei did not drive directly home, but came to the Hanglung shopping center. After careful consideration, he decided to do something. Return the engagement ring. His love with Ji Qingwan is over. Gu Bei would not get drunk like in TV dramas. Then throw the diamond ring into the river. Gu Bei had experienced life without money and knew how difficult it was. Moreover, his current wealth was earned by his own hard work, which consumed countless energy and time. He didn't get rich overnight, so Gu Bei didn't have the mentality of a nouveau riche. Apart from spending money on Ji Qingwan, he never spent money lavishly or wastefully. I will improve my quality of life, but I will not buy unnecessary luxury goods. From this perspective, his values are actually not in line with Ji Qingwan's. People with different values will find it difficult to stay together until the end. Gu Bei took the diamond ring and purchase receipt and walked into the jewelry store. The 2-carat diamond ring cost nearly 200,000 yuan. But now I can only refund 140,000. Because the 7-day return period has passed. Fortunately, it is not a special customized model, otherwise I cannot return it. Gu Bei accepted the 30% discount on the recycling price. A loss of 60,000 is better than a loss of 200,000. Moreover, diamonds are not as good at maintaining their value as gold and their value depreciates rapidly. 60,000, a lucky number. After returning the engagement ring, Gu Bei felt a lot more relaxed. Say goodbye to the past completely. As soon as Gu Bei walked out of the store, he ran into Ji Qingwan and Yang Chen who were about to enter the Jaeger-LeCoultre watch store next door. The two of them obviously didn't expect to run into Gu Bei. Ji Qingwan was stunned at first and glanced at the jewelry store behind Gu Bei. Then he understood Gu Bei's purpose and his face turned pale instantly. Yang Chen took the initiative to step forward and greeted them with a smile on his face. Long time no see, Gu Bei. Didn't we just meet not long ago? Yang Chen was stunned, then smiled. Oh, it turns out that Mr. Gu saw me that day. Ji Qingwan didn't notice that Yang Chen's address to him changed from Gu Bei to Mr. Gu. Even though she guessed the truth, she couldn't help but ask. What are you doing here? Gu Bei said calmly, return some of the things. The ring? Why did you return it? Gu Bei suddenly realized that Ji Qingwan had become very strange. Is there any reason to return an engagement ring? Gu Bei felt so stupid. After Ji Qingwan broke up, she couldn't wait to be with Yang Chen. She also questioned herself why she wanted to return the diamond ring. How ridiculous. Gu Bei didn't want to answer Ji Qingwan's stupid question. Aren't you asking even though you already know the answer? Ji Bei looked at Yang Chen and said, "Congratulations. You have just returned to China and joined Fuxing Group. You have been recognized by the chairman and will surely achieve great things in the future." Yang Chen's face darkened. "Ji Bei, you can't keep a woman, who can you blame? Public is public, private is private, you'd better distinguish between public and private. Are you teaching me how to do things? I have the ability to influence the cooperation between Fuxing Group and your company. Do you believe it?" "I believe it. But do you dare?" Ji Bei chuckled. Yang Chen was immediately furious. "Polaris is nothing compared to Fuxing, why are you so arrogant? You're awesome. Okay?" Ji Bei glanced at Ji Qingwan. "I hope he can regret the engagement for you. Let's get together soon, and don't message me anymore." After saying that, Ji Bei walked out. Yang Chen clenched his fists. If Ron Hui hadn't said that Xue Fuxing attached great importance to this cooperation, he would have let Ji Bei know what it meant to be the client's father. He had originally wanted to buy a watch to match his new position, but now he has completely lost the mood. Ji Qingwan looked at Ji Bei as he left in a daze. The return of the diamond ring proved that Ji Bei had truly let go of the past, otherwise he would have definitely kept it well. Ji Qingwan felt a pang of pain in his heart. She understood that her relationship with Ji Bei was really over. It is still unknown whether Yang Chen, who is beside her, can bring her happiness. But one thing is clear, the boy whose eyes were full of her turned and left, and may never look back again. Chapter 14, Gold Diggers. Poor people play with cars, rich people play with watches. Yang Chen watched Ji Bei leave calmly and felt very bad. This was totally different from what he had originally imagined. He thought Ji Bei would lose control of his emotions. Unexpectedly, Ji Bei not only did not lose his composure, but also teased him for climbing up the social ladder and taking the back door. Even exposed his lies. Of course Yang Chen would not regret the engagement. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it only comes once in a lifetime. The money he saved now was only enough to buy an automatic mechanical watch from the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Series. It costs about 100,000 yuan and is suitable for business occasions. After marrying Xue Bingxia, it would be no big deal for him to wear a $1 million Patek Philippe or Audemars Piguet watch. Ji Qingwan could only bring him envious and jealous looks from passers-by. But Xue Bingxia can make him a truly superior person. However, Yang Chen, whose lie was exposed, was not worried that Ji Qingwan would leave. People always believe what they believe. Since Ji Qingwan chose him and promised to give him 3 months, he would not leave. Just wait until the 3 months are up and then continue to put it off. When he gets tired of playing, he will kick it away. There was no way he could really marry Ji Qingwan, a slut that Ji Bei had slept with and a vase that could not bring him any real value. Yang Chen was very unhappy, but pretended to be indifferent. Even praised Ji Bei. Ji Bei is quite generous. Even though his girlfriend ran away, he still gave her his sincere blessing. "You will break off the engagement for me, right?" Ji Qingwan asked. "Of course. Qingwan, you know you are my favorite person. What is Xue Bingxia? She is just a cocky little princess. 3 months is too long." Yang Chen frowned. "Qingwan, please understand me. My father is still in the hospital, and dozens of people in the company are waiting for me to pay them. Do you have to marry that woman? You have the ability, you will shine wherever you go." Yang Chen wanted to laugh after hearing this. Ji Bei really protected Ji Qingwan so well. How could you say such childish words? How can gold shine if no one digs it up? The real gold mines are hidden in the homes of a few people. Although Yang Chen didn't get along with Ji Bei, he had to admit that the latter was very powerful. He started from scratch and has achieved what he has today. But Ji Bei was destined to find it difficult to reach the top level. Even the 2 levels below the top of the pyramid cannot be squeezed in. Ji Qingwan didn't understand any of this. Yang Chen suddenly felt that Ji Qingwan was a little stupid and not worthy of him. It might become a burden to me in the future. The smile disappeared from Yang Chen's face and his expression became a little cold. A good horse needs a good trainer. If you miss the opportunity, it will be gone. I can't give up my family business and dozens of families just because of personal feelings. If you don't even understand this and don't understand me, I can only say sorry to you. Qingwan, I can't give you the life you want now, and I can't live according to your ideas regardless of everyone. When Ji Qingwan heard this, he suddenly panicked. Chen, that's not what I meant. I support you. You can shoulder the burden and have a sense of responsibility. I knew you were considerate, but it was Gu Bei who didn't know how to cherish you. After some CPU, Yang Chen solved the trouble that Gu Bei left before he left. If he hadn't been worried about affecting the cooperation between the two companies, he would have fallen out with Gu Bei a long time ago. How could he allow Gu Bei to mock him in person? Forbearance. Yang Chen told himself to swallow his anger first. Once he becomes the boss of Fuxing Group, Gu Bei is nothing. Yang Chen put his arm around Ji Qingwan's slender waist and walked into the store. Now that you are here, you still have to check the watch. By the way, Qingwan, what watch does Gu Bei wear? He has no watch. Yang Chen was stunned. No way. Isn't this blue balloon a matching watch? He bought it for you and not for himself. Watches? I don't know. Ji Qingwan shook his head. He doesn't like wearing anything on his wrist. He said he can just check the time on his phone. Oh, he's quite pretentious. Ji Qingwan didn't answer. Regarding this point, she didn't think Gu Bei was pretending. She had thought about giving Gu Bei a watch before. If it was a gift from her, Gu Bei would definitely wear it every day. But she had no income and didn't want to give him a watch worth thousands of dollars, so she just thought about it. Gu Bei said that he didn't like wearing things, so she naturally agreed with Gu Bei. Otherwise, buying a watch would use up all her savings. Women like shiny things, and Ji Qingwan is no exception. Walking into the store, she temporarily forgot her previous worries and looked at her watch. The salesgirl saw that the two were target customers and introduced different series of watches to them professionally and enthusiastically. Ji Qingwan took a fancy to a blue flip series watch. Chen, this watch should look great with a dress. Yang Chen took a look and saw that it was a women's model, priced at 198,000 yuan. I bought a watch last year. Yang Chen came to buy a watch for himself as he is short of money now. Even if you have a fat wallet, you can't spend $200,000 to buy a watch for a woman who won't get married. Yang Chen thought that Ji Qingwan wouldn't be a rich man, so Gu Bei gave it to him. Gold digger? Yang Chen felt nervous. Gold diggers are the most difficult to deal with. He thought Ji Qingwan was not a gold digger, but it seemed that was not the case. What dress to wear? Don't you want not only a watch but also a dress? Now that you have a dress, do you also need a set of jewelry? Wouldn't that be nearly $1 million? Grass. Yang Chen was already cursing in his heart. He began to doubt the real reason why Ji Qingwan broke up with Gu Bei. Who proposed the breakup? Even if the net assets are tens of millions, it is not enough to do this. How dare you ask for a watch worth 200,000 with such an income? Poor people play with cars, rich people play with watches. Yang Chen's family is not bad, but he only dares to play with watches and cannot afford a real watch. 200,000 is enough for him to play as many watches as he wants. However, Yang Chen's ability to control his emotions is still very strong. He didn't say it was bad, but nodded calmly, it's okay. Yang Chen saw the ultra-thin Master Moon phase watch he wanted. Take this out and let me see it. The salesgirl deals with customers all day long and quickly understands who the real customers are. He immediately put on white gloves and took out the watch. Yang Chen tried it on and it looked good, but not as good as he thought. Considering his future wealth, Jaeger LeCoultre is just a transition. There is no need to spend tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. After trying on several models, Yang Chen took Ji Qingwan away. Chen, I think the platinum one suits you very well. Which one? How much? The one with 69,000. Yang Chen curled his lips and said, that one is too cheap. It's their low-end entry-level watch. It's embarrassing to wear it outside. Ji Qingwan fell silent. These words made her inexplicably think of something else. Would it be embarrassing to take her out? Ji Qingwan thought of Gu Bei again. In comparison, Gu Bei doesn't care so much about face and would not say such things. Just now she was talking about matching a dress, and she had a royal blue haute couture dress at home. The price is not much cheaper than that watch. Ji Qingwan doesn't care that Yang Chen is not as rich as Gu Bei. But Yang Chen didn't care about her as much as Gu Bei. She had just tried on one watch. If it were Gu Bei, he would definitely ask her to try on a few more styles. As long as she likes it, Ji Bei will definitely buy it. But although Yang Chen didn't say it, Ji Qingwan could also sense that Yang Chen had no intention of buying her a watch. Even if she likes a certain watch. Ji Qingwan knew that Yang Chen's family was in a difficult period, so she didn't want to show her love. But whether you want it or not is one thing, and whether you are willing to give it is another. Attitude is the most important thing. After leaving the mall, the two of them talked noticeably less. Ji Qingwan was silent for a while, then said, "Chen, I'm tired and want to go back and rest. I'll take you home. Your foot is just healed, so you should rest at home more." "No, it's getting late. I'll just take a taxi. There are plenty of taxis." "Then be safe. Send me a message when you get home. I'll take you out after I'm done with my work." Yang Chen stopped a taxi, Zhonghai University. Ji Qingwan sat in the back seat and waved. The car started, and Ji Qingwan looked at the street outside the window in silence. Yang Chen didn't insist on sending her back to school just now. Still the same problem, attitude. Whether you love someone or not can be seen from your attitude. Ji Qingwan realized that Yang Chen didn't love her as much as Ji Bei. If it were Ji Bei, he would send her back no matter how late it was. Thinking that Ji Bei went to the jewelry store most likely to return the engagement ring, Ji Qingwan felt uncomfortable. The traffic on the right continued to move forward, as if she was the only one standing still. Chapter 15, People who have been caught in the rain know how to hold an umbrella for others. Ji Qingwan returned to school. The fashionable and beautiful clothes are out of place in the small and shabby dormitory. It's like a beautiful canary entering a grass nest. Ji Qingwan kicked off her high heels, lay on the narrow bed, raised her left hand and stared at her watch. The shape is like a pebble, with round arcs on the front and back. The crown is set with a convex round sapphire. The crystal mirror reflects a wonderful light and shadow effect. After wearing it for 3 years, the mirror surface is as smooth as new without a single scratch. The azure second hand kept turning and trembling. Ji Qingwan's thoughts returned to 3 years ago. That was Ji Bei's first pot of gold. Ji Bei didn't buy a gift for himself, but bought her a watch. Ji Qingwan still remembers that night. They were both very happy. Clap for love and laugh continuously. Ji Qingwan forgot when he began to gradually ignore Ji Bei's work. When she was preparing for the postgraduate entrance examination, she was always looking forward to Ji Bei finishing his work and coming to see her earlier. Even just a little bit of tenderness is good. In winter, we eat hot pot together and squeeze into a small rental house to keep each other warm. Ji Bei's efforts and encouragement are her motivation and confidence. Ji Qingwan found that it was not her who stood silently behind Ji Bei and supported him until he became successful. Instead, Ji Bei worked hard and accompanied her to pass the postgraduate entrance examination. Later, Ji Bei successfully started his own business and passed the postgraduate entrance examination. Life is getting better and better, but the beauty of working together is gone. Ji Qingwan closed his eyes and listened quietly to the sound of the pointer turning. The watch is still there, but Ji Bei is gone. There is still time, but we can't go back to the past. When Ji Bei returned home, the huge house was empty. Many of the shelves were empty. He collected all the things related to Ji Qingwan. Ji Bei didn't plan to give it to Ji Qingwan in person, so he would just send it by express delivery. Unless necessary, he didn't want to meet Ji Qingwan again. I don't want to see Ji Qingwan and Yang Chen holding hands. Otherwise it would be somewhat disgusting. When Ji Bei went to the headquarters of Fuxing Group, he saw Yang Chen. Zhenliner is a know-it-all and knows the human resources and secretaries of many companies. With a little inquiry, you can find out Yang Chen's general information. Yang Chen has climbed up the big tree of the Xue family. But Ji Bei was more surprised that Yang Chen was secretly engaged to Xue Fuxing's daughter. If it weren't for Zhenliner's powerful intelligence channels, she might not have been able to find out. Ji Bei was originally not sure whether Ji Qingwan had been cheated. But judging from the reaction tonight, Ji Qingwan already knew. This made Ji Bei's mood even more difficult to calm down. Not only did he regret the engagement, but he also took on the responsibility of doing the same thing. It was hard for Ji Bei to accept that the person he loved would make such a choice. But the facts are there and we have to accept them. Although he would never look back, Ji Bei still felt a little uncomfortable. Buzz. The cell phone vibrated. Message from Zhenlina. Have you arrived home yet? I'm here. I forgot to send you this message. Go to bed early. Okay, you should go to bed early too, good night. Good night. Gu Bei let out a long breath and told himself not to feel bad for Ji Qingwan anymore. Not worth it. After breaking up, just be well on your own. If it's not good, it has nothing to do with him. Gu Bei took a shower and fell asleep. The next day, when Gu Bei came to the company, there was no sign of anything unusual on his face and he quickly got into work mode. The cooperation with Fuxing Group will not be cancelled because of Yang. No one can resist money. Soon Fuxing Group will be a major customer and possibly even a shareholder. Gu Bei went to negotiate in person, not entirely for business. Shui Fuxing is interested in investing in Polaris Group. The price offered was not low, but the shares asked for were a bit too much, so Gu Bei did not agree. As long as the listing is successful, Gu Bei will not lack this money at all. And there are more than just one or two companies that want to invest in them. What Gu Bei needs is an allied shareholder who has the resources and the ability to help Polaris go public. Polaris' business is relatively broad and is expanding rapidly, but it does not burn money like the internet industry. The capital chain is sufficient and the debt-to-asset ratio is low. Gu Bei focuses on stability, not to go public and raise money and run away. If you take steady steps, you can go further. Fuxing Group's growth model is worth Gu Bei's reference. But Gu Bei will not touch real estate. He would like to cooperate with Fuxing Group in the two fields of big health industry and intelligent manufacturing. Gu Bei was not in a hurry as he had to eat one bite at a time. After going public, he has more funds to invest in emerging industries. It doesn't matter if the cost of trial and error is a little higher. As long as you don't touch the minefields, you won't be blown to pieces. After a busy morning, Gu Bei received a series of messages while eating. The note is, Xiao Xiao Su. When I opened the chat window, I saw many photos of campus scenery. I'm at school now, let me share with you the beautiful scenery of our school, hee hee. When Gu Bei saw the message, his eyes softened and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. Xiao Xiaosu, whose name is homophonic to Xiao Xiaosu, is a student he sponsored. People who have been caught in the rain know better how to hold an umbrella for others. When Gu Bei started his business, he made decent profits, so he came up with the idea of sponsoring poor students. After searching online, he picked 3 children. It's south relatively close, so you can go directly to check the authenticity. By the way, check the child's family environment. Choose the most suitable funding, it is not impossible to have 2. If you don't find anything suitable, keep looking. The first little girl is in the 5th grade and her academic performance is very good. Her mother passed away and her father worked away from home all year round, leaving only her grandmother to take care of her and her younger brother. Children from poor families have to grow up early. The girl is very sensible and helps with housework at home every day. People are also very polite and nice in every aspect. Sadly, I will be dropping out of school soon. But the real reason for dropping out of school was that the girl's grandmother did not allow her to do so. I want my younger brother to go to a better school. Even if the girl continues to go to school, she will go to work to support the family after graduating from junior high school. When Gu Bei went there that day, he happened to see the girl helping to hoe the fields. Not only was she disliked by her grandmother for her slow movements, she was also slapped on the back of her head. My brother, who is 2 years younger than me, sat on the bench and didn't do his homework or help with the chores. Seeing this, Gu Bei left immediately. He knew that even if he provided financial support, there was a high probability that not a penny would go to the girl. Only spent on the spoiled brother. My grandmother's preference for boys over girls cannot be changed at all. The second candidate is a little boy who has just entered junior high school. My father has an injured hand and is a frequent drinker, and my mother works away from home. If my father worked harder and drank less, our family conditions wouldn't be so bad. But the real reason why Gu Bei gave up was that the little boy's home was a mess. It's just like a garbage dump, and the smell is extremely bad. To say that it stinks is no exaggeration. Moreover, the boy has a rebellious look in his eyes and is quite rebellious. Gu Bei had no intention of providing financial support for such a family environment. The money given was probably used to buy alcohol. The third one is Xiao Xiaosu, who was placed last and was the one he was least optimistic about. But the actual situation was beyond his expectations. Chapter 16, Traveling thousands of miles to study, love has already taken root. Xiao Xiaosu's real name is Su Nanqing. Gu Bei's first impression was that this was not the name of a child from a poor mountainous area. In comparison, his name is more rustic. However, the people chosen by Gu Bei all came from relatively poor families. The name is only one aspect, the main thing depends on the actual situation. Su Nanqing's father drowned in his early years and no compensation was received. Grandpa and grandma are no longer around. Su Nanqing was raised by her mother Xu Mai alone. But Xu Mai suffered from ankylosing spondylitis due to overwork. Because I have been working all the time and didn't take medicine on time to control my condition in order to save money, it became more and more serious. In the end, he was unable to work and could only walk with the help of crutches and do some manual work at home. I can make at most 50 yuan a day. When Gu Bei went to Su Nanqing's house, the mother and daughter were stringing plastic beads in the house. 2 cents a string, sold by the piece. There was not much furniture in the house and it was very shabby, but very clean. Gu Bei still remembers it clearly. Xu Mai smiled warmly, but both mother and daughter looked a little embarrassed. Su Nanqing had a ponytail, a pale face and a thin body. But the big, blinking eyes reveal a desire for life. Gu Bei sat down to help string the beads and understand Su Nanqing's learning situation. In fact, the wall full of 3 good student award certificates already shows that Su Nanqing has excellent grades. The person who really made Gu Bei decide to provide funding was actually Xu Mai, whose paralysis was becoming increasingly serious. Generally speaking, disabled people have bad tempers and tend to get angry easily. Physical defects, mental stress, life pressure, and anxiety. Without a social circle, negative emotions continue to accumulate and psychological problems are likely to occur. But Gu Bei didn't see Xu Mai complaining about life and feeling sorry for herself. The look in his eyes when he looked at Su Nanqing was filled with only doting and guilt. With such a mother, Gu Bei believes that Su Nanqing will not go astray. So Gu Bei offered to sponsor Su Nanqing's schooling and cover her monthly medical expenses. Upon hearing this, Xu Mai burst into tears and knelt on the ground to kowtow. Gu Bei stopped her, and Xu Mai kept expressing her gratitude. He left 2,000 yuan and asked Xu Mai for her bank account number. She promised to transfer 1,500 yuan into it every month. 500 of it is for medicine, and the rest is for living expenses for 2 people. If you have any other large expenses, you can contact him separately. Gu Bei was about to leave, but the mother and daughter kept him for dinner. To be precise, it is noodles with vegetables and eggs. I had to buy eggs on short notice. After dinner, Gu Bei took Su Nanqing to the supermarket to buy a bunch of daily necessities and food. Xiao Xiaosu's nickname also came from that time. Want mini crisps. Gu Bei also bought clothes and shoes for the mother and daughter. When buying clothes, he found that Su Nanqing was tall but thinner. He is almost skin and bones, and it is obvious that he is not getting enough nutrition. He originally wanted to buy 2 more sets, but Su Nanqing said that was not necessary as he usually wore school uniform. But Gu Bei still insisted on buying 2 sets, one of which was for changing seasons. Seeing the happiness in Su Nanqing's eyes, Gu Bei himself was happy too. After returning, Gu Bei personally cooked a meal for the mother and daughter before leaving. When he left that day, the mother and daughter stood there and watched him go, and Su Nanqing kept wiping away tears. Gu Bei's eyes were wet. He has lost his family, so seeing such a warm and strong family makes him want to protect it even more. This guard lasted for 5 years. The little girl back then is going to college now. Gu Bei couldn't help but sigh that time passed so quickly. Su Nanqing, who is both good in character and academic performance, did not disappoint expectations. He was admitted to high school and university, and received scholarships every year. The amount of funding provided by Gu Bei also increased from the initial 1,500 to 3,000. Let Xu Mai use better biological agents to replace non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Unfortunately, it is too late now and the disease cannot be cured. We can only delay their condition. Gu Bei hadn't visited the mother and daughter for a long time, and didn't even know what Su Nanqing looked like now. But he shouldn't be as pale and thin as before. Gu Bei looked at the campus scenery photos and felt that they looked a little familiar. He found that he still didn't know what university Su Nanqing attended. At that time, I said I wanted to give him a surprise. The school is very beautiful. Which university is it? Zhonghai University, hee hee. I came to your city, are you surprised? Ji Bei was stunned. It turned out to be Zhonghai University where Ji Qingwan was studying. However, it is not surprising that Su Nanqing was admitted to Zhonghai. Ji Bei asked, "Can't you be at home alone?" "Yes, I used the money I earned from working during the summer vacation to buy a rice cooker with many functions and an air fryer. Aunt Wang next door helps buy some groceries every week and visits every other day. Mom will call me if anything happens." Ji Bei nodded. Su Nanqing was more sensible and made proper arrangements. "Give Auntie Wang a little more money for groceries every month, I'll pay for it." "No need, I've already given it to you. I will work part-time to earn money." "Working part-time is only about 10 yuan an hour, right? You should still focus on your studies, don't worry about this, you can worry about it after you graduate." "Really, no need, brother Ji, I won't fall behind in my studies, I will find a part-time job." Ji Bei no longer insisted. "Okay, tell me if you have anything to say. Do you have classes tomorrow weekend? If not, I will take you out for dinner and stroll around Zhonghai." "No class." "Then I'll come and pick you up at 9 in the morning, the East Gate is fine." "Okay. I'm busy now, see you tomorrow." "Yeah, see you tomorrow." After finishing the chat, Ji Bei returned to his work. After chatting with Xiao Su for a while, he felt much better. Zhonghai University, Girls' Dormitory. Su Nanqing was lying on the bed, with her white little feet raised and a look of joy on her face. She will be able to meet her favorite brother Ji tomorrow. Coming to CSNU is only part of the surprise. The real surprise was her. Su Nanqing used the money she earned from her part-time job during the summer vacation to buy a white dress. It's over 200 yuan, a bit expensive. In the past, she would definitely not buy it. But she hopes that she can appear beautifully in front of Ji Bei. Su Nanqing couldn't help but laugh foolishly when she thought of Ji Bei's surprised expression. She had been in love with Ji Bei for a long time and had been waiting for him to grow up. Now that she has finally gone to college and has no worries about her studies, she can express her love openly. As early as their first meeting, Ji Bei, who was gentle, handsome and caring, left a deep impression on her. But she didn't understand at that time that the seeds of love had already been planted in her heart and took root and sprouted. Later, Su Nanqing realized that she felt more than just gratitude towards Ji Bei. "And I like it deeply." Su Nanqing didn't want to wait any longer. During her difficult years, Ji Bei's warm encouragement gave her great courage. No matter where Ji Bei is, even if he is thousands of miles away, she will cross mountains and seas to find Ji Bei. Su Nanqing at this moment was completely different from the cold goddess in the eyes of her classmates. Just when she thought of Ji Bei, joy would appear in Su Nanqing's eyes and a feeling of tenderness like floating clouds would pass through her heart. Chapter 17. The co-pilot seat is occupied and replaced. After a busy week, Ji Bei also wants to relax during the weekend. Now he no longer has to do the work of 10 people by himself as before. From working hard to living a good life. Even without love, we still have to live. Ji Bei leaned against the car, and his handsome appearance frequently attracted the attention of passing students. He didn't bring a driver today, nor did he drive a Maybach. "I chose the most low-key Audi A8. But with her temperament right there, it's hard not to attract attention. Although it is not the supercar R8, it is at least a high-end Audi A8 worth millions, which is stable, majestic and luxurious." A pure and elegant girl in a white dress came into Ji Bei's sight. Many boys' attention was focused on the girl. Some boys walked very slowly, obviously deliberately falling behind the girls just to take a few more glances at their beautiful backs. Ji Bei took a look and then looked away. This is not the person he is waiting for. Xiao Su is not that pretty. But he didn't expect that the girl with picturesque features would walk straight towards him, her eyes flashing with undisguised joy. "Brother Ji." Ji Bei opened his mouth slightly, stunned. "Little Su." "Yes." Su Nanqing blinked. "Brother Ji, don't you recognize me?" "Oh. I didn't recognize you. You've become prettier." "We." "Get in the car." Amid the envious gazes of others, Ji Bei drove away with Su Nanqing, who had caused a sensation as soon as she entered school. There will probably be a lot of posts about Su Nanqing on the campus forum today. The most beautiful freshman goddess left school in the handsome rich second-generation's luxury car. I guess there will be a lot of rumors. Some boys are going to be sad. But Su Nanqing didn't care, and neither did Ji Bei. But there is one person who cares. Ji Qingwan, who was about to go buy something, happened to see Ji Bei. Ji Qingwan didn't see Ji Bei's face. But she was very familiar with Ji Bei's back and could recognize it at a glance. The car is not a Maybach, but she has also sat in this A8. Ji Qingwan almost rushed forward just now. She thought Ji Bei came to see her on purpose. But I saw a girl sitting in the passenger seat. Through the car window, she saw Su Nanqing's profile. Ji Qingwan couldn't help but stand there in a daze. She didn't know how Ji Bei knew Su Nanqing. What is the relationship between the two? An absurd thought popped up in Ji Qingwan's mind. Ji Bei deliberately picked the most beautiful girl in her class to stimulate himself. In order to change my mind. But she quickly dismissed the idea. Ji Bei is not that kind of person. Ji Qingwan frowned, she had many questions. But she was blocked by Ji Bei, so she couldn't ask even if she wanted to. Ji Qingwan decided to ask Su Nanqing later to get things clear. Ji Qingwan felt very uncomfortable when he thought about his former position being replaced by someone else. She was confused at first. Why did Ji Bei accept the breakup so quickly? And there was no attempt to retain them, just blocking and deleting them. Ji Qingwan thought of many possibilities. One of them is that Ji Bei fell in love with another girl. She originally thought that it wouldn't happen. She knew how much Ji Bei loved her. But now seeing a girl getting into Ji Bei's car, this thought came to my mind again. She had thought about a question a few days ago. I can't stay young and beautiful forever. If I take good care of myself, I can only maintain it until my 30s at best. Once you are over 40, no matter how good the skincare products are or how well you do medical aesthetics, you will never be as good as when you were young. But there will always be young and beautiful girls. Ji Qingwan understood this the first time he saw Su Nanqing. No matter how many students praise her for looking like a 20-year-old college girl, it cannot change the fact that she is almost 30. Ji Qingwan was a little annoyed. Although she was the one who broke up first, she still found it hard to accept that Ji Bei had a new love so quickly. Maybe there was still room for recovery before. But if Ji Bei is with another girl, there will be no way to save the relationship. Ji Qingwan thought Ji Bei would wait for her to come back. At least I won't find a new love in the short term. But less than a month had passed and Ji Bei had already found a young and beautiful girl. Ji Qingwan no longer had the heart to go shopping and turned back to the dormitory. But as soon as she returned to the small dormitory, she felt uncomfortable all over. The house she originally lived in was bright and spacious, and even had its own dance room. But the single dormitory room and bathroom I live in now is not as spacious as the living room before. That's not all. Ji Qingwan felt even more uncomfortable when she thought of Ji Bei taking Su Nanqing out to eat and go shopping. Ji Qingwan couldn't stay in the dormitory. Send a message to Yang Chen. Do I have to work overtime all day today? When do I get off work? 5 minutes passed with no response. Ji Qingwan sent a message again. Shall we go out for dinner together tonight? But the information fell into oblivion again. After a long wait, Ji Qingwan finally received Yang Chen's message. Still busy, not sure when it will be finished. Didn't we agree before that after I'm done with this, I'll take you out for a nice meal some other day? I'm busy now, dear. Ji Qingwan looked at the screen of his mobile phone with a complicated expression. She saw the perfunctory attitude. There is also a hint of impatience. It was useless even if she told herself that Yang Chen was indeed very busy recently. There is only one meaning implied. I'm busy, don't disturb me. Ji Bei would never say that. Ji Qingwan drew the curtains, and the room suddenly fell into darkness. Then she lay down on the bed. Even with a newly bought high-end mattress, it was still not that comfortable. Ji Qingwan took out his watch and put it to his ear, listening to the sound of the hands moving. Every time this happened, she would feel that the world suddenly became quiet. Empty your mind. You don't have to think about anything. But in reality, Ji Qingwan couldn't just think about nothing. She was wondering frantically what Ji Bei and Su Nanqing were doing at this moment. Did nothing, or did everything? With no one to accompany her, she could only stay in the dim dormitory and let her mind wander. Taiku Hui. Yang Chen, who said he was working overtime, was drinking coffee with Xue Bingxia. It's not wrong to say that it's overtime. Because this was the task the old man assigned to the two of them. I hope the two of them can communicate more and cultivate their relationship. If Schwebingshire wasn't worried about her bank card being frozen, she wouldn't have come. She was forced to come here, so naturally she was in a bad mood and didn't even bother to look at Yang Chen. In her eyes, the latter is a hypocrite. You can fool her dad, but you can't fool her. Schwebingshire has a lot of resentment towards her father. Not only did he force her to get engaged to Yang Chen, he also ignored the evidence she provided that Yang Chen was a scumbag. If you dare to do this during the engagement period, what will you do after marriage? Schwebingshire and her father had the most intense conflict in their lives. But Xue Fuxing didn't care about her personal feelings at all. Schwebingshire was both bored and unhappy. But she was too lazy to mock Yang Chen, whose face was as thick as a city wall. And it's especially hypocritical. She got angry as soon as she saw it and simply ignored it. Anyway, she would never marry Yang Chen. Schwebingshire looked at the time and there were still 10 minutes. But she didn't want to sit there anymore, so she picked up her bag and prepared to leave. Yang Chen stood up as well, and was about to shamelessly hitchhike when he suddenly saw a familiar figure. Chapter 18, A girl changes a lot when she grows up, she is actually a white swan. Yang Chen saw Gu Bei. The latter was accompanied by a beautiful girl who was no less beautiful than Ji Qingwan. Yang Chen narrowed his eyes and looked at the girl. The first impression it gives is that it's the type of first love that all boys would like. Simply using good looking is not enough to describe the girl's appearance. What is even more attractive is its temperament that is like a clear spring in the mountains. There is no worldly air. Just one glance and Yang Chen was moved. He even suspected that Gu Bei didn't like Ji Qingwan, which was why he threw her to him. If that's the case, wouldn't he be the one taking the blame? A gloomy look flashed across Yang Chen's eyes. Schwebingshire followed Yang Chen's gaze and raised her eyebrows when she saw Gu Bei. She had already asked someone to investigate Ji Qingwan, and the information was also about Gu Bei. But he is much more handsome in person than in the photo. Schwebingshire glanced at Yang Chen, raised the corners of her mouth slightly, and walked towards Gu Bei. Hello, Mr. Gu, nice to see you again. Hello, Miss Xue. Gu Bei met Schwebingshire once when he went to the headquarters of Fuxing Group. But the father and daughter were not having a very happy conversation at that time. Gu Bei didn't ask any more questions. He later found out that Yang Chen and Schwebingshire were secretly engaged. Gu Bei also spotted Yang Chen not far away. Zhonghai is so small that you can run into it everywhere you go. But this time, the person beside Yang Chen was not Ji Qingwan, but Schwebingshire. The two drank coffee together and seemed to have a good relationship. Schwebingshire looked at Sunanqing. Who is this? My friend. Gu Bei had no intention of introducing himself. He was not familiar with Schwebingshire, and he was unhappy with Yang Chen. Just saying hello is enough, no need to be polite. But Schwebingshire didn't think so and extended an invitation. It's a rare opportunity to meet you, how about having a cup of coffee together? Gu Bei shook his head. Sorry. My friend and I are going to do some shopping. Maybe next time. When is the next time? Gu Bei was stunned and thought that next time it would just be a polite remark. For adults, there is no specific time for next time. Even if we meet next time, it will still be next time. Gu Bei was a little confused, and Schwebingshire seemed to have something to say. I just don't know what to say specifically. If it had anything to do with Yang Chen, he had no interest at all. Now he no longer cares whether Yang Chen will break off the engagement for Ji Qingwan. Whether the two of them can end up together has nothing to do with him. If it is a business cooperation, then make a formal appointment. However, according to the information Gu Bei learned, Schwebingshire was only holding a temporary position in Fuxing Group. To be precise, they have no real power and usually don't take care of things. They just get a salary plus annual dividends. Xue Fuxing is still managing the group. However, Schwebingshire should be able to influence Xue Fuxing's opinion. After all, Schwebingshire is Xue Fuxing's only daughter. Gu Bei thought about next week's schedule. Next Tuesday morning, or Thursday or Friday. Tuesday then. Okay. Gu Bei nodded, ignored Yang Chen's gloomy face, and left with Sunanqing. Sunanqing's gaze lingered on Schwebingshire for a while longer. She could feel the confidence that came from the latter's wealth. This is something she doesn't have and can't even cultivate. But Su Nanqing is not inferior, as her past experiences have taught her a lot. Yang Chen waited until Gu Bei and the other man were far away before asking, Bing Xia, what do you want to talk to Gu Bei about? None of your business. Now Yang Chen no longer had a good face. Always trying to please the cold but Shui Bingxia has always been sarcastic and indifferent to him. Even the clay Buddha has a temper. Yang Chen said in a deep voice, you'd better think carefully before you do anything, the chairman will be unhappy. Oh. Shui Bingxia sneered, you're not pretending anymore? You're using my dad to pressure me. I am his daughter. You should know your place. Do you really think you can marry me? There are many people who are better than you. Yang Chen also smiled, really? Then why does the chairman favor me? It is inevitable that people will become confused when they grow old. Will the chairman be confused about your lifelong affairs? Yang Chen smiled confidently, accept the facts. I am your best choice and can help you protect the Shui family. Shui Bingxia frowned and asked, what do you mean? But Yang Chen did not answer, instead he said, I am very happy to be with you today. I look forward to seeing you next time. After saying that, Yang Chen left on his own and was no longer as attentive as before. Shui Bingxia frowned. Although she has a bit of a spoiled brat's temper, she's not stupid. This time the conflict with my father was entirely because of the engagement. But Yang Chen's words just now seemed to imply that the Shui family was in trouble. But Shui Bingxia didn't hear anything. Even if something really happens, does Yang Chen have the ability to solve it? Shui Bingxia was very suspicious. To put it bluntly, Yang Chen's family background is at best only slightly better than that of the ordinary middle class. But he is nothing in front of the Shui family. Yang Chen is neither a top technology talent nor a financial genius. Shui Bingxia couldn't help but wonder if Yang Chen had any relatives with strong backgrounds. We will find out if we investigate further whether this is true or not. In addition, Shui Bingxia plans to have a good talk with her father. Check if there is any big trouble. If there is any problem, let us discuss and solve it together. Shui Bingxia is not a rich girl who is willful and knows nothing. But no matter what, there is a problem to be solved. She would not marry Yang Chen. Shui Bingxia asked Gu Bei to have a private chat in order to cancel the engagement. Gu Bei looks much more pleasing to the eye than Yang Chen. It just so happened that Gu Bei's company had another collaboration with the group. Shui Bingxia wanted to make a small deal with Gu Bei. I don't think Gu Bei will refuse. Gu Bei didn't know much about the Shui family's affairs, and didn't care about Shui Bingxia and Yang Chen's affairs. At this moment, his attention was on Su Nanqing. Little Su has grown up. It has also grown. It is said that girls change a lot when they grow up, but this was the first time Gu Bei saw it with his own eyes. The changes are extremely big. He was pale and thin, and would fall down if the wind blew. Now she is slim and has perfect curves. Su Nanqing put on a French beach hat and smiled sweetly. Brother Gu, do I look good? Nice. Su Nanqing smiled even more happily. She put on a pair of brown sunglasses again, what about this? It looks good too. Su Nanqing chuckled and put everything back in their place. If you like it, keep it as a gift from me. Su Nanqing shook her head. I don't need these at school. Then I'll take you to Heizhongju next time we have a holiday. Really? When have I ever lied to you? Yeah. Brother Gu, you are so nice. Su Nanqing excitedly hugged Gu Bei's arm. The amazing elasticity made Gu Bei's heart skip a beat. From now on you should call me Da Su Su. Gu Bei wanted to pull his hand away, but Su Nanqing pulled him forward. Brother Gu, this puppet looks like you. No, it's called Dubai. In my heart, Brother Gu is Dubai. Chapter 19, even more beautiful than the night view is the photo of the two of them. Dubai is gentle and considerate, with a kind nature. Reliable at critical moments, with strong arms. In Su Nanqing's heart, Gu Bei is more reliable and gentler than Dubai. Gu Bei rubbed Su Nanqing's head and said lovingly, then I will be your Dubai today. Wow. That's awesome. Su Nanqing put her arms around Gu Bei's neck, extremely excited. Gu Bei smiled and shook his head, why are you acting like a child? Let's go and have something to eat. I want to eat pasta. Greedy girl. Gu Bei finally saw the little Su in Su Nanqing. She is still that sensible little girl with a sweet smile. But in fact, Su Nanqing only reveals this side of her when facing Gu Bei. In the eyes of ordinary people, Su Nanqing is a top student and a cold goddess who can only be admired from afar. Who would have thought that the aloof goddess is actually a clingy little thing? Gu Bei took Su Nanqing to eat at Pizza Hut. Seeing Su Nanqing eating happily and looking very satisfied, Gu Bei was also happy. And he hadn't experienced this kind of simple happiness in a long time. In the past 2 or 3 years, he has taken Ji Qingwan to countless high-end restaurants. But Ji Qingwan always finds some small faults. It's rare that I think a restaurant is good, but I won't be very happy with the food. It's like the base point of happiness is constantly being raised. Gu Bei has eaten many delicacies from land and sea, but he still thinks that many ordinary foods are delicious. For example, the bacon chicken pasta on the table. Freshly made, very fragrant. The meat is not loose and the noodles are chewy. The crispy chicken nuggets are also golden and crispy, and tender on the inside. Being easily satisfied is also a kind of happiness. Gu Bei placed the chicken nuggets in front of Su Nanqing. Would you like another serving? No, I can't eat anymore. Don't be in a hurry, eat slowly. Brother Gu, you eat too. Su Nanqing picked up the largest piece of chicken and placed it in front of Gu Bei's mouth. R. Gu Bei tried to catch it with his hands, but was avoided, so he had to open his mouth and eat it. How is Aunt Shu's health lately? Are you still taking your medicine? Su Nanqing's eyes darkened and she forced a smile. It's pretty good, but it hurts sometimes at night and I feel stiff in the morning. I'll contact the experts in Zhonghai and Beijing to see if it can be cured. I guess it can't be cured. Medicine is advancing. If it can't be cured, it's only temporary. It's good to be able to relieve the pain. My mother may not be willing. Our family owes you too much. It's okay. I'll tell you. Brother Gu. Okay, it's settled. After dinner I'll take you to get a drink and some clothes. Clothes are too expensive here. Take a look first, and buy if there's something suitable. It's not worth it. It's very cheap to buy online now. It's okay, just take it as shopping. By the way, is there anywhere you want to go? The Bund. Okay, let's go there in the evening. The night view there is better. A cell phone rang. Gu Bei answered the phone and it was about company matters. After giving a few brief instructions, he hung up the phone. Brother Gu, are you busy? If so, I can go back to school by myself. Gu Bei shook his head. Nothing, I agreed to accompany you today. Su Nanqing was deeply moved. Before coming, she was still a little worried. I was afraid that Gu Bei didn't like me as much as before, even though it wasn't the kind of love between a man and a woman. Fortunately, Gu Bei has not changed, and he is still their brother Gu in her mind. In the afternoon, the two of them just browsed but didn't buy anything. Walk and stop. Su Nanqing, who is usually taciturn, has a lot to say. She crushed her love and hid it all in the nonsense she said to Gu Bei. Gu Bei didn't show any impatience and listened patiently. Little Su was like this at the beginning. After getting familiar with each other, he chattered non-stop. Gu Bei was very happy to be the person Su Nanqing listened to. He felt like he had gone back many years. At the beginning, he helped the mother and daughter to the best of his ability. There were tough times, but he did not stop providing funding. Fortunately, we all made it through. Gu Bei has a successful career and Su Nanqing has also gone to college, so their future is promising. Looking at the happy Su Nanqing, Gu Bei felt that he had done something very meaningful. We can help more people in the future. But the premise is that you are a human being, not an ungrateful person. Night falls. Gu Bei brought Su Nanqing to the revolving restaurant in the Pearl Tower. I didn't listen to the waiter's instructions and asked for a window seat. It's a rare opportunity to come here, and Gu Bei hopes that Su Nanqing can see the best scenery. The restaurant rotates once every 2 hours, and offers a great view of the surrounding high-rise buildings. Su Nanqing exclaimed, so beautiful. The buildings shine with colorful colors, and even the yachts on the river change colors from time to time. The whole world is immersed in a sea of light. Su Nanqing, who had never seen such a beautiful scenery, was intoxicated by it. Many people who come to Zhonghai are amazed by the night view of the Bund. But after coming here a few more times, the original veil of mystery will be removed. Gu Bei brought Ji Qingwan here once. The latter also liked to come here to hang out and drink coffee at first. But soon he didn't even want to come. In Ji Qingwan's words, the night view looks the same every time and there is nothing good to see. But it wasn't like this at the beginning. Maybe after a long time, we will really get tired of each other. Brother Ji, can we take a photo together? Ji Bei nodded and leaned forward. Su Nanqing held the mobile phone in her left hand and smiled sweetly. The picture freezes. The first photo of the two was born. Su Nanqing looked at the photo with joy in her eyes. It seems that the photos in the mobile phone are more beautiful than the gorgeous night view. Su Nanqing sent the original photo to Ji Bei, and then clicked on the save button to avoid losing it. She will always keep this photo. I will keep more beautiful moments with Ji Bei in the future. While eating, Su Nanqing's attention was not on the beautiful scenery outside the window. All I see is Ji Bei. When Ji Bei looked at Su Nanqing's sweet smile, his heart was also stirred. But he hasn't fully adapted to Su Nanqing's changes. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, it would have been hard for Ji Bei to connect the lovely girl in front of him with the little girl from back then. After dinner, they went downstairs and strolled along the river. The cool night breeze brushed against her face and blew up Su Nanqing's hair. The river water ripples gently, sparkling, reflecting the prosperity on both sides. The surface of the river is like a shining ribbon, overflowing with colorful light. Su Nanqing jogged forward 2 steps, walked backwards, and looked at Ji Bei with a smile. Brother Ji, I really like the way it is now. Ji Bei smiled slightly, he liked it too. The two walked along the river for a long time and talked about many things. Those who have enjoyed the evening breeze together will probably remember it for a long time. Su Nanqing will never forget this night. She likes Ji Bei, just like there are countless stars in the night sky but only one moon. Ji Bei is the most gentle moon in her heart, irreplaceable. Chapter 20, Breaking up means you no longer have the qualifications. Near 10 o'clock, Ji Bei sent Su Nanqing back to school. By the way, I bought a lot of fruits at the fruit shop not far from the school gate. Downstairs in the dormitory, Ji Bei handed the bag to Su Nanqing. Eat more regularly so that you can get enough nutrition. Got it? Yes, sir. Looking at the quirky Su Nanqing, Ji Bei subconsciously wanted to touch her head. But I feel it's not appropriate. Just as he was about to let go of his hand, Su Nanqing took the initiative to rub Ji Bei's palm. Ji Bei was stunned for a moment, then said softly, "Okay, go in. I'll take you out next time." When is the next time? This is what Xue said during the day. Ji Bei scratched Su Nanqing's nose and said, "Any day you want." "Yeah. I'm leaving. Call me if you need anything." "Yes." Su Nanqing nodded heavily, "Be careful on the road." Ji Bei didn't stay any longer and turned away. Many people had already stopped around, their eyes fixed on him and Su Nanqing. Su Nanqing, carrying a load of heavy fruit, watched Ji Bei leave. She didn't turn around and go upstairs until Ji Bei's figure disappeared. Light steps. The bag was heavy and contained more than just fruit. And Ji Bei's deep love for her. Su Nanqing carried the fruits back to the dormitory and shared them with her roommates. "Nanqing, was that the boy you particularly liked just now? I saw him when I went to fetch water just now." "Of course he is. He's so handsome." Su Nanqing nodded, "Yes." "Wow." A uniform scream came from the dormitory. Su Nanqing would not deny that she liked Ji Bei. Not only does she like him very much, she has only one person she likes in her life. However, Su Nanqing did not say much about Ji Bei. She could openly admit that she liked Ji Bei. "But I don't want Ji Bei to be affected unnecessarily." Su Nanqing matures more precociously than his peers and considers more aspects. She doesn't mind some gossip. But when it comes to Ji Bei, it touches her bottom line. In the evening, Su Nanqing looked at the group photo for a long time, and the smile on the corner of his mouth never disappeared. Later she set the photo as her desktop background. Midnight. There was a flash of light above Su Nanqing's bed. "Good night, my brother Ji." After taking photos and saying good night, Su Nanqing fell into a deep sleep. The next day, after class, Su Nanqing received a message from Ji Qingwan adding her as a friend. "As soon as I passed the verification, Ji Qingwan sent me a message. Student Su, do you have time?" Su Nanqing was a little confused, but thinking that she still had to ask Ji Qingwan about the scholarship, she replied, yes. The two then made an appointment to meet at the playground. Ji Qingwan obviously didn't sleep well last night and was not in good spirits. Even with makeup and concealer, it's hard to hide the look of fatigue. Sunanqing didn't go to bed early either, but she was in very good spirits. The youthful and beautiful face is full of vitality. Counselor. Ji Qingwan got straight to the point. Nanqing, I saw you getting into a car at the school gate yesterday. What's your relationship with that man? Sunanqing frowned slightly. She knew the news would spread quickly. But he didn't understand why Ji Qingwan came directly to him, and his tone was questioning. Counselor, this is my personal matter. His name is Gu Bei, right? Sunanqing was stunned. You, no brother Gu. Brother Gu. Hearing such an intimate name, Ji Qingwan felt very jealous. It was obvious that the two had not just met. Ji Qingwan asked, did he mention me to you? Sunanqing shook her head. Did you know he has a fiancée? What? Brother Gu has a fiancée? Who? Sunanqing's face turned pale. Ji Qingwan didn't say anything. Sunanqing said in disbelief, Counselor, are you brother Gu's fiancée? Ji Qingwan wanted to acquiesce, but he knew the answer as soon as he asked. So she spoke anyway. Once. Half a month ago. Sunanqing breathed a sigh of relief. But Ji Qingwan quickly asked again, when did you and Gu Bei meet? 5 years ago. What? Ji Qingwan was shocked. How is that possible? How old were you then? Sunanqing straightened up, I am an adult now. Counselor, you are not brother Gu's fiancé anymore. Ji Qingwan frowned, and she finally understood why Gu Bei agreed so readily. It turns out there was already an alternative. Ji Qingwan felt cheated. How did you two meet? How long have you been together? Brother Gu is my sponsor. You are Xiaoxiaosu. Ji Qingwan opened his mouth in surprise. Sunanqing nodded, yes. Ji Qingwan couldn't believe it, she knew Gu Bei was sponsoring a student. It's been a long time and we still chat occasionally. She neither supported nor opposed this matter. Good intentions may not always be rewarded. The funding may not necessarily go where it should be used. She knew that the other person was a middle school student. I have seen Xiaoxiaosu chatting with Gu Bei several times. She looked at the chat content and found it was all normal and the frequency of chat was not high. 2 or 3,000 yuan a month is not much. Going out shopping would cost more than that, so she didn't care about it anymore. But she never expected that the students sponsored by Gu Bei not only went to college, but also became her students. And she is a girl whose appearance is no worse than hers. While Ji Qingwan was silent, Sunanqing was still digesting the news that Gu Bei had a fiancé. To be precise, it was my ex-fiancé. Sunanqing looked at Ji Qingwan carefully, she was indeed very beautiful. She couldn't help but wonder why the two broke up. But no matter what, since they have broken up, she doesn't have to worry about it. Sunanqing has always been looking forward to growing up quickly. She was also worried that Gu Bei would get married. She didn't even dare to ask more about this before, for fear of receiving a wedding invitation from Gu Bei. But she knew that if Gu Bei got married, he would definitely tell her. After waiting for a long time to go to college, Sunanqing could finally express her love. But she didn't expect that Gu Bei had someone he liked and they almost got married. But since it didn't happen, it means that the Ji Qingwan in front of him is not the one who will live happily ever after with Gu Bei. After thinking it through, Sunanqing's eyes became firm. Counselor, you and brother Gu have broken up. I hope you won't interfere in my affairs with brother Gu. Ji Qingwan raised his chin and narrowed his eyes. Eyes met. Ji Qingwan was surprised at Sunanqing's straightforwardness and determination to not back down. If she hadn't mentioned breaking up, she could have directly told Sunanqing not to have any improper expectations. But now she and Gu Bei have broken up, and she was the one who broke up first. She has no right to interfere, both morally and logically. But she felt a little uncomfortable. I always feel that Gu Bei agreed to break up because of Sunanqing. The air became stagnant. No one spoke, no one took a step back. Chapter 21, No Compromise, I like it. Seeing that Sunanqing didn't avoid his gaze at all, Ji Qingwan was surprised and a little jealous. Generally speaking, students who have just entered their freshman year tend to be introverted. When encountering such a thing, I would not panic, but at least I would not dare to confront it. What's more, I was facing the counselor. But Su Nanqing's attitude was very firm, and she was obviously determined to be with Gu Bei. Even though Gu Bei had her as his former counselor, he did not hesitate. If it was a little later, would Su Nanqing still be so determined? But there is no if, time cannot be reversed. Ji Qingwan could no longer confirm whether his choice was right or wrong. If Su Nanqing and Gu Bei get together, there will never be another chance. Ji Qingwan already felt a little regretful. Yang Chen's attitude was not as good as she thought, and he was not as gentle and considerate as Gu Bei. Moreover, Yang Chen is engaged to Shui Bingxia. Although Shui Bingxia has a bad temper, she comes from a wealthy family. Ji Qingwan vaguely felt that Yang Chen might be lying to him. But it's not certain yet. Ji Qingwan had thought that if Yang Chen was a liar, he might return to Gu Bei in the future. But looking at the young and beautiful Su Nanqing in front of him, Ji Qingwan lost his confidence. Even as a girl, she had to admit that Su Nanqing was really beautiful. Even unbelievably beautiful. Ji Qingwan was silent for a long time and asked, "Do you like Gu Bei?" "Yes, I like it very much." Su Nanqing expressed her feelings for Gu Bei firmly without any hesitation. It's not just because she really likes Gu Bei. Ji Qingwan also gave her a sense of threat. Su Nanqing didn't want Ji Qingwan to come between her and Gu Bei in the future. She roughly guessed that Ji Qingwan had let Gu Bei down. As for the reason, she didn't know. But whatever the reason, it doesn't matter. The important thing is that Ji Qingwan chose to break up and even broke off the engagement. Then don't get entangled with Gu Bei anymore, and don't interfere in his relationship. Su Nanqing hoped that Ji Qingwan could understand this, and spoke in a stern tone. At this time, the two were not in a counselor and student relationship. Even though Ji Qingwan was a teacher, Su Nanqing's attitude was the same. Su Nanqing asked back, "Do you still like brother Jiu?" Without waiting for Ji Qingwan to answer, Su Nanqing continued, "If you don't like it, don't bother me anymore." Petition. Ji Qingwan frowned and said, "I didn't pester him." "Then why did you look for me?" "I'm your counselor." Do counselors still care about students' love affairs? Ji Qingwan was speechless. "It's really none of my business." "But," Ji Qingwan said unhappily, "I am your counselor after all, can I remind you? I know brother Jiu. I don't want to hear you talk about brother Jiu. I know very well what kind of person he is. Then have you ever thought that you are just grateful to him, but you don't really like him? I like it. Can't you tell the difference? What if he doesn't like you? Then I will try my best to become the person he likes, rather than the person he hates." Su Nanqing showed no mercy in his words. She thought Gu Bei wouldn't like such a person. Arrogant and without any sense of propriety. Ji Qingwan also figured it out. Su Nanqing likes Gu Bei unilaterally. I don't know if it is true now, but it was definitely true in the past. And given Su Nanqing's personality, she should be the proactive type. Ji Qingwan put himself in Gu Bei's position. Would Gu Bei reject such a girl? I'm afraid it's difficult. Seeing that Ji Qingwan was silent again, Su Nanqing didn't want to talk anymore. She had made it clear and didn't want to waste time on this. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Wait, I have one last question. You say. If Gu Bei says he doesn't like you, will you give up? You should ask yourself this question. Just give up. After saying that, Su Nanqing turned and left. The two of them broke up the talks. But no matter how we talk about it, the outcome is the same. If Su Nanqing knew that Ji Qingwan broke up with Gu Bei for another man, she would be even more rude in her words. Why should I make comments about someone who has fallen in love with someone else and is breaking up? Ji Qingwan understood. But she still believed that Gu Bei loved her deeply, and just couldn't accept that she broke up with him and went to find Yang Chen. Moreover, Ji Qingwan subconsciously wanted Gu Bei to wait for her to come back. If she made the wrong choice, at least she still had Gu Bei and a good way out. But Ji Qingwan didn't understand that when she thought this, she had already lost Gu Bei. When competing with Su Nanqing, he had already lost. After Su Nanqing left, Ji Qingwan stood there for a long time. For some reason, despite her dislike for Su Nanqing, she actually felt a little envious. Dare to love and hate, fearless of everything. The appearance of Su Nanqing made Ji Qingwan even more hesitant. The things you grab are the most delicious. Being liked by a girl like Su Nanqing, Ji Qingwan also feels that Gu Bei is very attractive. But if I could be with Yang smoothly, it would not only fulfill my wish back then. At the same time, he defeated Xue, who came from an extremely wealthy family, and felt a great sense of accomplishment. The question is, will Yang really give up Xue and the opportunity for class advancement for himself? Ji Qingwan suddenly lost confidence. The appearance of Xue and Su Nanqing made her realize that she was not so unique. She used to be Gu Bei's whole world. But after leaving Gu Bei, he seemed to slowly turn back into an ordinary person. Before we knew it, night had fallen. Ji Qingwan didn't know how long he had been standing there. When I moved my legs, I realized my feet were numb. Ji Qingwan had to bend down and pat Mu Ran's legs. The appearance of Su Nanqing also made her feel an unprecedented crisis. There were many people who liked Gu Bei in the past. But Ji Qingwan didn't worry much. Because she knew that she was the only one in Gu Bei's eyes and heart. But now she took the initiative to walk out. There is a high possibility that Su Nanqing will enter Gu Bei's heart and replace her. The more Ji Qingwan thought about it, the more he felt that it might become a reality. Even though she had broken up with Gu Bei, she didn't want to see such a thing happen. Ji Qingwan subconsciously regarded Gu Bei as her property. She was originally still wavering, but because of the appearance of Su Nanqing, she decided to operate on two fronts. While watching Yang Chen's attitude, he looked back at Gu Bei. It's only been a month since the breakup. Ji Qingwan absolutely did not believe that Gu Bei would forget about her so quickly. How can I forget a relationship that lasted nearly 10 years? Ji Qingwan regained his confidence. She is Gu Bei's favorite person, no doubt about it. Su Nanqing may not really like Gu Bei, she may just be grateful to him. Or maybe he was attracted by Gu Bei's excellent conditions. Handsome and rich. Since she accepted Gu Bei's financial support, it means Su Nanqing's family must be very poor. Thinking of this, Ji Qingwan became more and more certain that Su Nanqing was attracted by Gu Bei's money. We didn't see each other very often before, so how could we have such deep feelings for each other? Ji Qingwan suddenly realized that he was almost deceived by Su Nanqing. The latter is by no means a simple liking, but has other purposes. Ji Qingwan found a reason, and she would not sit idly by and watch Gu Bei being deceived. She is the one who is not after Gu Bei's money, but she is also the one Gu Bei loves the most. No matter who she chose in the end, Gu Bei should not have chosen Su Nanqing. Ji Qingwan returned to the dormitory and began to look for items related to Gu Bei. She suddenly remembered that she still had some things with Gu Bei. Ji Qingwan believed that Gu Bei would not throw it away casually. Maybe Gu Bei was thinking about the person he saw when he saw the object. Thinking of this, she smiled. But soon, she couldn't laugh anymore. Chapter 22. I want you to be my fiancé. After Su Nanqing returned to the dormitory, she wanted to ask Gu Bei about Ji Qingwan. But in the end she gave up the idea. Rather than asking proactively, Su Nanqing would rather wait for Gu Bei to say it himself. Although it was surprising that Ji Qingwan was once Gu Bei's fiancé, it was a thing of the past after all. Su Nanqing recalled that during the first day of the class meeting, someone in the class asked Ji Qingwan if she had a boyfriend. Ji Qingwan's answer was that she had a fiancé. She didn't expect that the fiancé Ji Qingwan was talking about was actually her elder brother Jiyu. Su Nanqing was a little confused. When did the two break up? They had already broken up, so why did Ji Qingwan bring it up? Su Nanqing thought about it carefully. Either they had just broken up a few days ago, or Ji Qingwan said this on purpose to reduce the entanglement of some boys. Both are possible. However, judging from Ji Qingwan's attitude just now, it seems that she still has feelings for Gu Bei. But Su Nanqing didn't like Ji Qingwan's attitude. It gives people a feeling of being very controlling. We've already broken up, why are you still asking this and that? Moreover, her tone was questioning from the beginning to the end, and her implicit meaning in her words was to ask her to give up Gu Bei. But Su Nanqing won't give up. In this world, some people and some love are destined to be bound for a lifetime from the first time you meet. Like a tree, growing in the heart, generation after generation. The next day, Gu Bei packed all of Ji Qingwan's things and asked the courier to take them away. There were 2 large boxes, containing clothes and shoes, as well as some cosmetics and the like. When Gu Bei was sorting out the clothes, he found that the tags on many pieces of clothing had not been removed. I bought all of them when I went shopping before. Every time I went shopping, it was a big shopping spree. Ji Qingwan is a clothes hanger and looks good in almost any clothes. This also led to Ji Qingwan feeling that all the clothes were good after trying them on. Gu Bei also dotes on Ji Qingwan and buys everything the latter likes. As a result, I bought more, and many of the new clothes were left gathering dust in the cloakroom. Gu Bei felt a little bit sorry. When you love someone, you will be infinitely tolerant of that person's shortcomings. Love blinds people's eyes and makes them ignore too much. After breaking up with Ji Qingwan, those shortcomings could no longer be concealed. In fact, Gu Bei doesn't care about some minor shortcomings. But the former Ji Qingwan is gone, and there is another man in her heart. This was something he couldn't accept. So he agreed to break up and decided not to bother each other in the future. Without Ji Qingwan's things at home, Gu Bei felt that the house was much cleaner and fresher. He always likes to keep things tidy and neat. But Ji Qingwan doesn't have this habit. Shoes are placed randomly, clothes are thrown around, and bags are hung randomly. The dressing table is even more unbearable to look at. Every time Gu Bei helped clean up, it would be a mess again within 2 days. Now I no longer have to help with the cleanup, it's a lot easier. It turns out that every person has his or her own merits. When two people are together, they need to tolerate and accommodate each other. But Gu Bei is always the one who is tolerant and accommodating, so it is inevitable that he feels tired sometimes. Especially when you get off work tired after a busy day, what you see is a messy house. My mood suddenly became worse. Now that he has returned to his alone life, Gu Bei feels like he has started a new life. Unexpectedly good. He understood a truth. When love becomes a heavy shackle, it becomes a burden heavier than life. That kind of love will only make people tired. Now that he has unloaded the burden, Gu Bei feels particularly relaxed. When he arrived at the company, Gu Bei greeted the employees with a smile. Gu Bei's team is relatively young, and who wouldn't he like a handsome and kind chairman? Jeanliner could tell at a glance that Gu Bei was in a good mood today. Morning. Morning. Gu Bei nodded, come in for a moment. Today Jeanliner wore a white long-sleeved chiffon shirt, paired with a khaki skirt, flesh-colored stockings, and high heels. Exquisite and elegant, yet simple and capable. Gu Bei gestured to Jeanliner to sit down and talk. A guest will be coming at noon. Please prepare the small meeting room. Okay, do you want to order food? No, just prepare some fruit. There are also prunes, longanies, and grapes in the refrigerator. That's enough. Which guest is it? The daughter of the chairman of Fuxing Group. Xue. Gu Bei asked in surprise, do you know her? She also attended the last charity dinner. I didn't notice. One more thing. Please help me find a family that needs a tutor, a reliable one. Okay, do you have any requirements for location and time? It's closer to Zhonghai University. Weekends are fine, and the hourly wage is not less than 200. It's okay to find another one, and arrange for Saturdays and Sundays, or separate the mornings and afternoons. Jeanliner wrote them down one by one and asked tentatively, who is it for? A friend of mine just came to Zhonghai University and wanted to find a part-time job, but the hourly wage for the school's work-study program was too low. Girl. Are there any requirements for the subject? It's all right. She has good grades. Jeanliner nodded, it seems that he is a top student, and he is from Zhonghai University, so it shouldn't be difficult to find him. Pick one out for me. Okay. Jeanliner found that Gu Bei was very concerned about this matter and explained it in great detail. I couldn't help but become interested in the girl. But she didn't ask too many questions or gossip. Boss, is there anything else? Is there an event in the district tomorrow? Yes, I have sent you the electronic invitation. If it's not very important, find someone to go for me. Okay, I'll arrange it. After it's over, I'll have someone compile the minutes and send them to you. How's the situation at Tiancheng Law Firm? There is no problem for now. It is being pushed forward. I will supervise it. Okay, let's do this for now. Jeanliner nodded slightly and left with graceful steps. Having a capable assistant can really save you a lot of trouble. So even though Ji Qingwan felt that Zhenliner was not suitable before, Gu Bei did not change her. Being beautiful and having a good figure should not be the reason why Zhenliner was transferred. Many people have come and gone in the general manager's office over the years. But only Zhenliner knew Gu Bei's thoughts well and could always arrange everything properly. The last time Gu Bei asked Zhenliner if she wanted to change her job, he was actually reluctant to let her go. There are many secretaries, but only one is as capable as Zhenliner. Around 11 o'clock. Schwebingshire came to the company and walked in quickly after saying that she had an appointment with Gu Bei. Strong aura, fashionable outfit, and confident steps. The receptionist trotted along beside him. May I ask your name? Xue. Ms. Xue, the meeting room is over here. Where is Gu Bei's office? Zhenliner stood up, stood in front of Schwebingshire, and signaled the front desk to go back with her eyes. Then he smiled and said, "Hello, President Xue. Please move to the conference room. The chairman is handling something and will be here soon. I'll take you there first." Schwebingshire looked Zhenliner up and down and raised her eyebrows. "Are you his secretary?" "Yes." "Just call me Lena." "Lead the way." "I'd like an Americano." "Okay, this way please." Zhenliner brought Schwebingshire into the meeting room. "Please sit down for a while." Schwebingshire sat down, crossed his legs, and put his sunglasses on the table, as if he was at home. Zhenliner asked her assistant to prepare coffee and then went into Gu Bei's office. "Boss Xue is here, alone, in the conference room now." "Okay, I'll be there in a minute." Gu Bei went to the meeting room only after replying to emails from foreign clients. "Mr. Xue, welcome." Schwebingshire stood up, stretched out her hand and smiled. "Mr. Gu is really a busy man with a lot of things to do every day." Gu Bei gently squeezed Schwebingshire's hand and then let go. "It's not as good as Fuxing Group. I wonder what you can do for me, Mr. Xue. I'm not representing the company today. I just want to have a cup of coffee with Mr. Gu." Knock knock. There was a knock on the door. Zhenliner brought a cup of coffee to Gu Bei and then walked out. Gu Bei raised his hand and gestured, "We are already drinking coffee. If you have anything to say, Mr. Xue can just say it directly." "Okay, I'll be frank then. I want you to be my fiancé." Puff. Chapter 23, The City's schemes are so deep and outrageous. Cough cough cough. Gu Bei choked as he took a sip of coffee. "It's outrageous. It's outrageous to open the door. It's outrageous to the extreme. Mr. Xue is really good at joking. I'm not kidding. If I remember correctly, Mr. Xue already has a fiancé, right? I don't like him. So you like me? At least you look better than him." Gu Bei shook his head. "I'm sorry, Mr. Xue. I'm sorry I can't agree to this request. Don't you want to ask what the benefit is?" "I don't like anything. I will fight for what I want." "Then we are the same. I have everything I need, I just want to fight for my freedom to love." Gu Bei was stunned, not knowing what Schwebingshire meant. This was the second time they met, and right away she said she wanted him to be her fiancé. Gu Bei couldn't help but guess that Schwebingshire and Yang were not getting along. But it has nothing to do with him. Gu Bei refused without even thinking about it. He is not a person who treats feelings as a joke. Schwebingshire changed the subject and said, "Yang and I are engaged, but we haven't announced it to the public. Some people just heard about it but didn't know who my fiancé was." "How did Mr. Gu know this?" "I know Yang. Because of Ji Qingwan." Gu Bei's eyes shone. "What does Mr. Xue mean?" Schwebingshire smiled. "It seems that Mr. Gu has not let go of Ji Qingwan. Don't you want to take revenge on her? I have broken up with her. Her affairs have nothing to do with me. If Mr. Xue wants to talk about this, please go back. What if Ji Qingwan was deceived by Yang? That has nothing to do with me." Schwebingshire was a little surprised. "It seems that you know Yang very well." "Not familiar, just college alumni." "You knew that he got someone pregnant in college and then ran away from home, right?" "I've heard of it. I'm curious if Ji Qingwan knows." "Have no idea." "No wonder. Why didn't you tell her? Why didn't you tell your dad?" Schwebingshire said in a deep voice, "My father is old and confused, and he won't listen to me. Whether you listen or not is one thing, whether you believe or not is another. You said my dad not only knew but also believed it. Then why did he let me get engaged to Yang Chen? Gu Bei shrugged. You should be the one asking this question. It is said that family disgrace should not be made public. Mr. Shui, are you talking too much? Heh. Schwebingshire laughed at herself. I don't even dare to announce my engagement. I'm already a joke. Do I still care about these things? Gu Bei was silent for a while. I can't help you. You can. My dad admires you very much. You want me to squeeze Yang Chen out? That's right. Anyway, you don't like Ji Qingwan anymore, so let them live their lives together. One is blind and the other has a heart, isn't that just right? Schwebingshire leaned forward and said, I will help you get the group's business orders, no less than 1 billion per year, how about it? Is that helping you make money? You can also earn commissions, and everyone is happy. What's wrong with that? I don't like to mix public and private matters, and I don't want to get involved in your family affairs. It's too late. What's the meaning? Knock knock knock. There was a rapid knock on the door. Jeanlina walked into the room, glanced at Schwebingshire first, and then whispered a few words in Gu Bei's ear. He handed the phone to Gu Bei to look at. When Gu Bei saw the report, his eye twitched. You go out first. Gu Bei took a deep breath and calmed himself down. What Jeanlina showed him just now was a newly released report. The daughter of the chairman of Fuxing Group is suspected to be engaged to the CEO of Polaris, and even a picture was posted. Gu Bei recognized at a glance that it was taken when they met at the mall 2 days ago. It was probably a picture captured by the Merchant S camera. The two people don't look intimate in the photo, and the title is not a positive statement. But the appearance of the 4 words, suspected engagement, was enough to cause a sensation. One is a behemoth worth hundreds of billions, and the other is a new rich man on the Huruan young entrepreneurs list. It can be said that it is a perfect match and a strong alliance. Gu Bei was sure that this was Schwebingshire's work. The latter arranged it without saying anything, which made him very angry. But getting angry won't solve the problem. Gu Bei calmed down his anger, but his expression was still very ugly. Boss Shui, is this too much? Yes. Schwebingshire put down her crossed legs, stood up and bowed. Sorry. I was wrong about this. I will give you 30 million as compensation. If you don't agree, I will immediately arrange for someone to clarify. Both parties can issue a statement and it will be suppressed quickly. Schwebingshire's apology was sincere, completely different from what she had just done. Gu Bei was stunned. What is going on here? 30 million, that's enough money to make you do whatever you want. However, Gu Bei could see that Schwebingshire was really resistant to marrying Yang Chen. Even using this method. If we clarify it now, not only will we lose 30 million, but it will also affect Schwebingshire's reputation. The apology was so sincere that Gu Bei's anger subsided a lot. Mr. Shui, you. Call me Bingxia. Have you had a good talk with your dad? We talked about it. Alas Tilder. Schwebingshire sighed deeply. We had several disagreements and my card was even suspended once. Then where did you get the 30 million? Schwebingshire looked at Gu Bei with a strange look. Ahem. I'm just curious. I have a house and a car under my name. I can give them to you as long as you are willing to help me. Gu Bei muttered to himself, turning out to be a poor guy. A woman's mouth is a lie. He thought Schwebingshire was really going to give him 30 million as compensation for his reputation loss. Schwebingshire seemed to see through Gu Bei's thoughts and added another sentence. I still own 1% of the group's shares, so you don't have to worry about the money. I'm not interested in money. Are you interested in me then? Gu Bei shook his head. A forced melon is not sweet. But it quenches your thirst. Gu Bei was speechless. Mr. Shui. Call me Bingxia. Okay, Mr. Shui. I suggest you have a good talk with your father. Forget about the compensation, just issue a statement as soon as possible. I was right about you. Schwebingshire smiled slightly. I'm starting to like you a little bit. Gu Bei has a black question mark face. He began to suspect that Schwebingshire had something wrong with her brain. But no matter what, he wouldn't do such a thing. It's not like a celebrity in the entertainment industry is creating a scandal. However, after the report came out, there may really be some customers who come to Polari's group for cooperation with Fuxing Group. Especially the upstream and downstream industrial chain companies of Fuxing Group. Gu Bei stood up and wiped the saliva that had just dripped with a tissue. No, it was coffee. Boss Shui, please issue a statement as soon as possible. Otherwise, if Boss Shui is really angry, it will not only stop your credit card. I will also explain to him. Okay, I understand. Schwebingshire looked lonely, with tears in her eyes. I'm sorry. I was so presumptuous. I shouldn't have dragged you into this. Schwebingshire covered her face and sobbed, I just don't know what to do. No one can help me. I don't want to spend my whole life with someone I don't like. Gu Bei looked at the crying Schwebingshire and was infected by her sad mood. He subconsciously patted Schwebingshire's shoulder. But he didn't expect the latter to throw herself into his arms and burst into tears. Woo 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 tilde. Crack. Suddenly an inopportune voice sounded. Gu Bei turned his head and saw Schwebingshire taking a photo with one hand. Gu Bei pushed Schwebingshire away, his face full of disbelief. Play with him? Schwebingshire, with tears still on her face, felt a little embarrassed. Thank you for comforting me. I will go back and have a good talk with my dad. After saying that, Schwebingshire wiped away her tears and was about to leave. Wait a minute. Gu Bei grabbed Schwebingshire's wrist. Delete the photo. What photos? Schwebingshire blinked and said in confusion. Stop pretending. I almost got fooled by you. Did you confirm our engagement this afternoon? You agree to help me? Still pretending. Gu Bei was so angry that he laughed. It's a pity that Schwebingshire didn't enter the entertainment industry. This acting skill will at least win her the Best Actress award. Gu Bei used his other hand to grab the phone. Schwebingshire quickly dodged and hid behind. During the struggle, the two of them hugged each other unknowingly. At this moment the door suddenly opened. Chapter 24. It was originally fake news, but now I really like it. Zhenlina, who was guarding outside, heard the noise inside and opened the door. I was shocked to see Gu Bei hugging Schwebingshire. There were still traces of tears on Schwebingshire's face. Zhenlina stared at the two people clinging together in amazement. Then he immediately closed the door. Schwebingshire took the opportunity to break free, and realized that they had been too intimate just now, and her ears turned red. I'm leaving. The statement will be issued this afternoon. Don't leave. Gu Bei stopped Schwebingshire. No one knows whether Schwebingshire's statement was a clarification or an admission. He strongly suspected that Schwebingshire was pretending just now and took the photos to confirm the authenticity of the report. If that really happens, you can't wash yourself clean even if you jump into the Yellow River. Schwebingshire was afraid that Gu Bei would snatch the phone, so she went around to the other side of the conference table. Don't push me. I didn't force you. I beg you, okay? Not good. I have your child. Gu Bei looked at Schwebingshire in astonishment. What did you say? You don't want me to say that to my dad. Gu Bei felt like he was about to have a heart attack. Madman. Gu Bei became more and more determined not to get involved with Schwebingshire. I'm crazy, I can even say such things. Gu Bei said coldly, don't degrade yourself. Delete the photos. Schwebingshire was stunned, lowered her head, and threw the phone in front of Gu Bei. You can delete it. Gu Bei picked up the phone, password. 123456. Gu Bei's mouth twitched. This password was no different from having no password at all. Enter password, delete photos, and empty trash. Gu Bei's peripheral vision caught sight of Schwebingshire's previous selfie and he quickly looked away. There's something. Gu Bei returned the phone to Schwebingshire. All right. Schwebingshire picked up the phone silently, I'm sorry. Don't make such jokes next time. And don't do such stupid things. It won't solve the problem, it will only make things more troublesome. I really have no choice. Where's your mother? Leave. Where are grandpa and grandma? Let them help persuade them. They are all gone. Gu Bei fell silent. He was born into a wealthy family, but it was hard to say whether it was lucky or unfortunate to have a father like this. But there was no way he would agree to help in this way. I'm sorry, I really can't help you. Schwebingshire remained silent. I know this request is excessive. Then she took out her car keys and placed them on the table. I'll let you drive the car, and I'll transfer it to your name later as compensation. Gu Bei looked at the car key with the Ferrari logo and felt a little softened. But he thought of something and his expression changed. You're not going to let me drive your car to prove our relationship, are you? No. How could I be like that? Gu Bei became more and more certain that his guess was correct. Damn. He couldn't help but swear. City people are very cunning. None of Schwebingshire's words were credible. There is no sincerity, it's all routine. Although he felt a little distressed, Gu Bei still said, I don't want the car, just issue a clarification statement as soon as possible. Oh. I'll send it today. Okay. If not. Schwebingshire raised her head, waiting for Gu Bei's harsh words. You know the consequences. Schwebingshire's lips curled up slightly. She really was beginning to like Gu Bei. He has a good temper, is not after money, and is not a pushover. Capable and handsome. Gu Bei felt that Schwebingshire's eyes when looking at him became somewhat dangerous, so he ordered her to leave. Please go back. I won't see you off. Schwebingshire walked closer to Gu Bei step by step. Gu Bei, not knowing what was going on, instinctively stepped back and finally retreated to the wall. Schwebingshire smiled and said, If I really like you, can I pursue you? Stop playing. I'm serious. Eyes met. Gu Bei turned his head away. It's your freedom to like whoever you want. But I won't pretend to be your fiancé. I will issue a statement this afternoon. Okay, I'll send it too. I'm leaving now. See you tomorrow. Schwebingshire smiled slightly, opened the door and left. Gu Bei breathed a sigh of relief, and then thought of what Schwebingshire had just said. What does see you tomorrow mean? Anyway, the scandal has been settled. Jeanlina walked into the meeting room. Boss, are you okay? Gu Bei held his forehead with his hand. Something happened. Draft a statement saying that the report is untrue. Schwebingshire and I are not engaged. Okay, I'll do it right away. Gu Bei looked at Jeanlina, who didn't move, and asked in confusion, Is there something else? Jeanlina hesitated for a moment, took 2 tissues from the table, and stepped forward to help wipe off the red marks on Gu Bei's neck. That was the lipstick that was accidentally left behind when the two of them were fighting over the phone. Seeing this, Gu Bei explained, It's not like that. Jeanlina smiled and nodded, I know. She was the one who messed around. No. She just took a sneak shot. A kissing photo. No. Gu Bei didn't want to make things worse, so he shook his head and said, Anyway, she and I are innocent. Next time she comes, just say I'm not here. New. Gu Bei went to the bathroom to make sure there were no lipstick marks left on his body. The daughter of the chairman of Fuxing Group actually uses lipstick that leaves marks. Gu Bei's expression suddenly changed. Could it be that? Probably not. Gu Bei remembered that there was only one photo, which had been deleted, and the photos in the trash can were also emptied. Gu Bei returned to the office, and the relaxed mood he had in the morning was gone forever. He had a vague feeling that this matter would not end so easily. Whenever he thought of Schwebingshire's many tricks, he got a headache. Gu Bei searched for relevant information and found that there were already a lot of reports on the internet. It's like there's an invisible hand pushing me. It must be clarified as soon as possible, otherwise the longer it is delayed, the more trouble it will cause. Gu Bei has encountered a lot of troubles and several major crises. But something like what happened today was the first time for a young girl to get into a sedan chair. However, even if a clarification statement is issued, there will probably still be follow-up effects. As expected, Gu Bei received several messages and 2 phone calls in the afternoon. They were all congratulating him on his engagement to the daughter of Fuxing Group. One of his better business partners even blamed him for not informing him of such an important matter. I still wonder why he is engaged again. He just got engaged to Ji Qingwan a while ago, but how come his partner became Schwebingshire? Gu Bei was overwhelmed. Ji Qingwan broke off the engagement, and her new fiancé was also fake. Gu Bei inexplicably felt somewhat miserable. That's so fucked up. As the workday was about to end, there was finally some good news. Chapter 25, Green grassland on ahead. replaced by fiancé. Not only Gu Bei received a lot of messages and phone calls. The Xue family is in even greater chaos. Originally, Xue Bingxia and Yang Chen had invited 2 tables of people to their engagement. They are all close relatives and friends, and the relationship is very close. As a result, everything went well and a new engagement partner emerged. Moreover, many people who didn't know the truth thought that Gu Bei was Xue Bingxia's fiancé. They all congratulated the Xue family. Xue Fuxing was furious. He knew immediately that it was his daughter's doing. No one knows a daughter better than her father. Xue Fuxing asked Xue Bingxia to go home immediately. This matter must be dealt with seriously. Xue Bingxia had no idea what impact this fake news would have. If we were to say who is the most confused, it would definitely be Yang Chen. When he saw the report, he was dumbfounded. Then came immense anger. Originally, he wanted to cheat on Gu Bei. Now it seems that Gu Bei is cheating on him. And he has more than just green grassland on his head. Even his identity as fiancé was replaced by Gu Bei. Those who knew the truth would probably laugh their heads off. Yang Chen immediately called Xue Bingxia, but was blocked. He was 100% sure that it was Xue Bingxia's idea. It's just not clear whether Gu Bei was involved and what role he played. But now it is spreading everywhere within the group. Gu Bei played the role of the son-in-law of Fuxing Group. He became a joke. Yang Chen wanted to find Xue Fuxing, but the latter was not in the company. Ron Hui looked at him strangely. Yang Chen smiled and explained that it was fake news and just a misunderstanding. But he himself knew how awkward and strange his smile was. Just like a clown. Funny and ridiculous. He is obviously the victim, but he pretends to be indifferent. Don't hit people in the face. Even if the misunderstanding was cleared up, his swollen face wouldn't go away. And all this is to blame on Xue Bingxia and Gu Bei. Yang Chen returned to his office and smashed the ashtray in anger. Grass. Gu Bei. Xue Bingxia. I'm not done with you. This is exactly the effect Xue Bingxia wanted. In fact, the matter is neither small nor big. Just dispel the rumors. It will not shake the foundation of Fuxing Group. Maybe it will have a good impact. She did not make the decision on impulse. Gu Bei was the person she chose after careful consideration. Young, promising, and handsome. If it were to be reported that she was engaged to the unknown Yang Chen, that would be a big trouble. The internet has memory. It would be troublesome if the dirty things Yang Chen had done were exposed. Everything Xue Bingxia did was for one purpose. Cancel the engagement with Yang Chen. Now there is a rumor on the internet that she is engaged to Gu Bei. This is an opportunity she created for herself. An opportunity to negotiate with an overbearing father. But Xue Bingxia didn't expect that she actually fell a little bit in love with Gu Bei. Gu Bei Ren is not a bad person, nor is he hypocritical. He has principles. And a little bit stupid. I was fooled by her several times. But I didn't really get angry, instead I handled the problem calmly. Be compassionate and be able to empathize with her grievances. Of course, that handsome face is also an important reason for adding points. Xue Bingxia has had high standards since childhood and has never been in a relationship. Yang Chen looked good, but his hypocritical appearance disgusted her. It was good enough that she didn't punch Yang Chen in the face. Gu Bei's sudden appearance made her heart skip a beat. Xue Bingxia is a person who dares to love and hate. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. She hated Yang Chen, and her attitude was clear. Now I like Gu Bei a little bit, although not much, but it is a good start. As for Ji Qingwan or Su Nanqing whom she met that day, she didn't care. A boy who is not liked by anyone is not much better. The more people like it, the better. Before Xue Bingxia returned home, she posted a statement on Weibo. This kind of thing cannot be posted using the official account of Fuxing Group. Otherwise the nature will change. Xue Bingxia reposted a report and attached a paragraph. I would like to clarify that Mr. Jiu and I are not engaged yet. We are just good friends. I am sorry for taking up public resources. Thank you for your attention. Not long after, Xue Bingxia's Weibo post was forwarded a lot. The comments below are very interesting. You haven't gotten engaged yet, are you planning to get engaged? Are you a good friend who can get engaged? It turns out that they are already together, congratulations. Mr. Jiu is so handsome. There is no pure boyfriend-girlfriend relationship in the world, this is confirmed. You are already a boyfriend and girlfriend, how can you still be pure? Doghead. I understand. But we are not engaged yet. We are already on our way to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Spread flowers. The engagement turned out to be a rumor. But the statement released by Schwebingshire seemed more like confirmation that the relationship between the two was unusual. Gu Bei is in a terrible situation. The statement issued was quite official. To sum it up simply in 4 words, all rumors. Before Gu Bei had time to be happy, he was rushed from below. The reason is simple. Schwebingshire almost asked you directly why you completely ignored her. Gu Bei saw Schwebingshire's statement a long time ago and thought it was okay at first. At least the engagement rumor was clarified. But later, the comments below made him realize that he had been tricked again. This is still Schwebingshire's routine, vague and unclear, making people guess in an ambiguous direction. Gu Bei didn't know what sin he had committed to deserve this. But it's not all bad. A bank loan that had been on hold for almost a month was approved. We have 2 more big customers with strong intentions. The district intends to nominate Polaris Group as one of the top 10 enterprises. All of this happened in just one afternoon. In the evening, Gu Bei received a call from Schwefuxing, inviting him to dinner at his home the next night. Family dinner. Gu Bei guessed that Schwebingshire had said something. Otherwise, Schwefuxing wouldn't have made this special call. After a little hesitation, Gu Bei agreed. First of all, the 2 parties are now in a cooperative relationship. Secondly, it is necessary to explain it clearly to avoid causing greater misunderstandings. Make your attitude clear, explain things clearly, and reduce the impact of public opinion. What Gu Bei was worried about was that Schwebingshire was secretly setting a trap. If Schwebingshire really said that she was pregnant, Gu Bei was afraid that he would never come back tomorrow. But I have never touched it, except when someone tried to snatch a phone. You won't get pregnant by touching it. Gu Bei had made up his mind that if Schwebingshire said anything nonsense, he would expose her directly. In fact, in his impression, Schwefuxing was not such an unreasonable person. We will have to go to find out whether tomorrow's family dinner is a hongmen banquet. Shortly after Schwefuxing's call, there was another strange phone call. After Gu Bei answered the call, Yang Ichen's angry voice came from the other end of the line. Gu Bei, did you team up with that bitch to mess with me? Don't you just want to take revenge on me? I recorded it. Gu Bei said slowly. Yang Ichen was suddenly stuck and hung up the phone immediately. In this spotlight, it was revealed that he called Schwebingshire stinky bitch, which was enough to make him suffer. If Schwefuxing heard this, Yang Ichen shuddered and regretted it. I hesitated whether to apologize to Gu Bei and delete the recording. But he couldn't help being angry because it was clearly Gu Bei who was cheating on him. Yang Ichen felt so depressed. Chapter 26. You are the best gift. Jeanlina could understand Gu Bei's grievance and helplessness. She comforted him, boss, this is not all bad. The reputation of Fuxing Group is still very useful. Rumors, please don't forward some calls to me in the next 2 days. Jeanlina noticed that Gu Bei was a little tired and stopped talking about the engagement. The statement has been issued, and the heat will die down in a few days. After all, they are not big celebrities. Boss. I asked the tutor and found 2 good candidates. Do you want to take a look now? Send it to me. Gu Bei looked through the files of 2 families who needed tutors. The first one was a divorced female boss of a housekeeping company. There is a pair of twins, a boy and a girl, who are in elementary school. My academic performance is pretty good, and I want to improve it a little bit. 6 hours a day on Saturday, 1,000 yuan, and the cook will make lunch. There is a 1-hour lunch break, and the rest of the time is mainly spent on tutoring and supervising children doing their homework. The second family is a well-off family, and both parents work in public institutions. My child is in junior high school and is poor at math and foreign languages. Tutoring is available on Saturdays and Sundays, and it costs 500 yuan for 2 hours. These 2 companies were selected by Jeanlina. It's just a whole day on Saturday and half a day on Sunday, so I have half a day left to rest and do my own things. The 2 days of the weekend add up to 1,500 yuan, and if you calculate it as a 4-week month, it would be 6,000 yuan. After reading it, Gu Bei was quite satisfied. It would be better if the hourly wage could be higher. Considering China overseas consumption level and degree of learning involution, the hourly wages of both companies are not high and can only be considered average. Lena, please communicate with the first company and see if you can raise the price to 1,500. This will ensure that the results go up. Okay, I'll get in touch. Can I have a trial class this weekend? It shouldn't be a problem. Let me ask. Gu Bei glanced at the wall clock and said, "You can leave work first. I'll send you a message later. I'll be leaving a little later, I have some unfinished business. Then order 2 meals and I'll transfer you later." Okay, what do you want to eat? Just watch it. Okay, I'll go out first. By the way, have you decided who will go to the district event tomorrow? I really can't go because I have something to do. It has been arranged. That's good. Gu Bei sent a message to Su Nanqing. Do you want to be a tutor? I have 2 acquaintances who are looking for a tutor. Su Nanqing, who had just finished class and was about to go to the cafeteria to eat, saw the message and replied immediately. Think. I am also looking for a part-time tutoring job. Brother Gu, you are my lucky star. Momotor.jpg. Gu Bei's depressed mood improved a lot. I'll send it to you later. Are you free on the weekend? Let's try the class first. I'm free. Brother Gu, will you come with me? If you want, I will go with you. Think about it. Gu Bei couldn't help laughing. Then I'll go with you. I bought you a gift and will give it to you when the time comes. What gift? I'm looking forward to it. You will know on the weekend. But I didn't bring you any gifts. You have already brought it, have you forgotten? Your coming to Zhonghai is the biggest surprise for me. Then I will give myself to you, Brother Gu, please keep it. Received pat on the head.jpg. Brother Gu, I miss you. Today is Tuesday. 3 days left. It's a long time. Soon. Don't go for your school's work study program and spend more time on your studies. Okay I'll listen to you. Have you eaten yet? 1 minute to the cafeteria. Then you should eat more. Brother Gu too, I love you. After saying this, Su Nanqing's face turned red first. But this is the only way she can express her love. If it is too formal, it will seem awkward. After preparing the meal, Su Nanqing took a photo and sent it to Gu Bei. Is it rich? I ate well. Gu Bei replied with a good boy emoticon. Su Nanqing began to eat contentedly. The roommate next to me winked and said with a long syllable, I ate well . Su Nanqing's pretty face turned red, but she couldn't hide the smile on her lips. In fact, Su Nanqing's cold appearance is just a protective color. When facing Gu Bei, she would open her heart. Give all your tenderness to Gu Bei without reservation. Su Nanqing has already thought about it. No matter what Ji Qingwan's attitude is, her feelings for Gu Bei will not change. However, considering that the two had just broken up, Su Nanqing decided to confess her feelings a little later. After not seeing each other for a long time, Su Nanqing also wanted to slowly improve her relationship with Gu Bei. She often felt that Gu Bei still treated her as the little Su from the past. But little Su has grown up. Now I can have a sweet love affair with Brother Gu. She will definitely work hard at the part-time tutoring job introduced by Gu Bei. Improve students' academic performance. Then make money to support the family and buy gifts for Gu Bei. In fact, she originally planned to use the money she earned from working during the summer vacation to buy Gu Bei a good gift. After buying the kitchen utensils, he left some money to his neighbor Aunt Wang, asking her to help take care of his mother. Most of the little money left was spent on medicine, so that my mother wouldn't have to ask someone else to buy medicine for her. As a result, she had very little money left, barely enough for living expenses. She has been looking for a part-time job these days. I also asked about part-time jobs, and some paid 10 or 12 yuan an hour, which is really too little. Su Nanqing hopes to earn more. Start a family early and don't be a burden to Gu Bei. No matter how rich Gu Bei is, she doesn't want to keep on bearing the favor. Now that she is in college, she is able to earn money. After becoming financially independent, she felt more confident in dating Gu Bei. Su Nanqing doesn't want to rely entirely on Gu Bei. What she liked was never Gu Bei's money, but Gu Bei himself. Meeting Gu Bei was the greatest luck in her life. Therefore, only by cherishing it can we make this luck last longer. After dinner, Su Nanqing contacted the two parents. The two sides had a preliminary understanding. Su Nanqing understands the child's general situation. She needs to prepare her lessons in advance so that she can perform better in the trial class on the weekend. You should also be familiar with both primary school and junior high school textbooks. But when it came to the salary, she was still surprised. It's 1,500 yuan per family, just 6 hours, and lunch is included. Another one earned 502 hours. This doubled the pressure on Su Nanqing. I must tutor my children well to justify this high salary. At the same time, it was also to prevent Gu Bei from losing face. Although Gu Bei said that there happened to be two people he knew who were looking for tutors, how could Su Nanqing not guess the truth? It happened to be a Saturday and a Sunday. It was obviously a part-time job that Gu Bei found specifically for him. Su Nanqing felt so sweet in her heart. She also wanted to give Gu Bei a gift at the weekend. A gift that has been prepared for years but has yet to be given. A sweet kiss. Her first kiss. Chapter 27, You Are My Life, Silent Confession. The sun sets and night falls. Everyone in the company had left, leaving only Gu Bei and Jinlina. Gu Bei does not advocate overtime work. He himself doesn't often work overtime. Inefficient and meaningless overtime is not only useless, but also increases costs. And the turnover of people will be more frequent. Today, Gu Bei was so overwhelmed by his engagement that he only had time to deal with the rest of the matters after get-off work. Jinlina ordered Chinese food for dinner, which consisted of 4 dishes and 1 soup. In the early days of their business, the two often worked overtime. Now that life is better, I don't feel bad about eating 4 dishes anymore. Jinlina sat in a dignified posture, eating rice in small bites. Boss, you said you have something to do tomorrow, are you going to Fuxing Group? I guess so. Is that so? Not to their headquarters, but to his home. Jinlina paused with her hands in the air, go to his house. About the engagement? Or the collaboration? I don't know. I didn't say. Then it should be about engagement. Jinlina hesitated to speak. Just say whatever you want to say. There's no need to be restrained between us. Does Miss Xue like you? When Xue Bingxia was mentioned, Gu Bei started to get a headache. No. But I feel like she's interested in you. Although your sixth sense is usually very accurate, it's wrong this time. I hope so. Have you ever met anyone like her before? No. But I admire her. You admire her? Gu Bei was surprised, you must be kidding. Really? At least she dares to express herself and is not afraid of worldly judgment. Wait a minute. Gu Bei raised his hand to interrupt, you're talking like she really likes me. She's actually trying to avoid the marriage her father arranged. Then why didn't she choose someone else but you? Is this because I'm easy to bully? Gu Bei himself laughed. Forget it. I'll go there tomorrow and clear up the misunderstanding. I won't have any contact with her in the future. Boss, you are setting a flag. You are getting bolder and bolder. You even dare to tease the boss. Boss, I was wrong tilde. Gu Bei felt a little overwhelmed when he saw Jinlina begging for mercy in a wronged manner. Well. It's good that you know you're wrong. I'll take you home after you finish eating. Boss, you are so nice. You didn't punish me, but sent me back. Gu Bei glared and said, don't be so ungrateful. Buy yourself a car soon. No, I just want to use your car. Jinlina said with a smile, she lost her daytime competence and became more charming. Natural beauty is a suitable label for Jinlina. A pair of watery almond eyes with shallow dimples can inadvertently captivate people. Even someone as determined as Gu Bei would occasionally feel a little moved. After finishing her meal, Jinlina packed up her lunchbox and prepared to continue working overtime. But he was pulled away by Gu Bei. Don't work overtime, do it tomorrow. You are the director of the general manager's office. If you work overtime every day, you will think I am exploiting you. Boss, you are so nice. I am willing to be exploited by you. Eyes met. There was a hint of ambiguity in the air. Gu Bei let go of Jinlina's soft, boneless little hand. Let's go. Jinlina smiled, with a hint of disappointment in her eyes. She doesn't mind working overtime as long as she can be with Gu Bei. Unfortunately, after so many years, because of Ji Qingwan, she was never able to truly accompany Gu Bei. Holding hands like the one just now might not happen once a year. After getting in the car, Jeanlina still sat in the passenger seat. Being alone with Gu Bei was the greatest reward for her overtime work. Over the years, Jeanlina has always been silently accompanying Gu Bei. Share happiness and sorrow in the daily trivialities. Every moment they spent together was her most precious memory. If companionship is the most lasting confession of love, then Jeanlina's confession to Gu Bei was silent and the most tender. Warm companionship, silent love. But now Gu Bei broke up with Ji Qingwan. She finally had the chance to speak her mind. But Jeanlina didn't dare to say it directly. Because you often only have one chance to confess. If you fail, you will never have another chance. It will also deteriorate the original relationship. The more you cherish, the more afraid you are of losing it. Jeanlina looked at Gu Bei tenderly and hummed "You in My Life" by Shui Munyanhua softly along with the radio. Because I dreamed of you leaving. I woke up crying. Watching the night wind blowing across the windowsill. Can you feel my love? Gu Bei listened silently. Jeanlina's voice is very special, soft and slightly hoarse, and full of emotion. How many people have admired your youthful appearance? Who is willing to endure the ruthless changes of time? How many people have come and gone in your life? You know I will be with you all my life. These lyrics also reflect Jeanlina's feelings for Gu Bei. She is willing to stay with Gu Bei forever. Even if family and friends do not support or understand. But there is no reason for love. At the end of the song, Jeanlina murmured, "You know I will be with you all my life." Half an hour later, the car stopped downstairs of the community. Jeanlina gently gathered her hair and asked, "Do you want to go upstairs and have a drink of water?" "No. There's water in the car." What a person who doesn't understand romance. Jeanlina glanced at Gu Bei resentfully, opened the car door and got out. "Lina." There was a gleam in Jeanlina's eyes. "I won't be going to the company tomorrow. If you have anything, just send me a message. If it's urgent, just call me." "Oh. Got it. Lina. Question mark. You sang very beautifully just now. I'm leaving now, you should get some rest early." After saying that, Gu Bei stepped on the accelerator and drove away. Jeanlina, who was slightly dazed, burst out laughing. Then I walked upstairs with light steps, feeling happy. The boss is actually not a stupid person. You just need to gently pry open the gap before you can get in. Jeanlina felt that she was one step closer to the love she longed for. A big step. After returning home, she noted down the date. It does not record overtime hours. Instead, she remembered the moment when she and Gu Bei were alone together again. Tonight is special. Gu Bei held her hand. She plucked up the courage to sing "You Are With Me All My Life" to Gu Bei. While taking a shower, Jeanlina sang "You Are With Me All My Life" again. Gu Bei's figure appeared in my mind. Jeanlina's soft singing could be heard from the bathroom. There is only Gu Bei in her life. She doesn't have to wait for Gu Bei's good night tonight. The pillow will say good night to Gu Bei instead. The road of love is still long, but in the long night, she has Gu Bei to accompany her.